Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Data Sim live stream. Today is the 17th of March 2021, 5 minutes past 4 here in the United Kingdom. Back in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's been a while since we've actually been in this sim. The last time we were streaming this simulator was the charity stream where we blasted around the UK in light aircraft raising money for the Dogs Trust. I've actually been putting off Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've had a few performance issues with the sim with some of the latest updates, which is why one of the sectors I've chosen today takes us primarily over the sea. I'm seeing it's being well documented and stuff like that. Hopefully they'll fix that as soon as possible. But everything seems to be okay with this sector. And of course, I think there's been a lot of hype in the community about this aircraft that's just been released yesterday, the Aerosoft CRJ 550. I had to grab it, and I took it for a test flight this morning. I had a little play of it last night as well. And overall, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Now, I'm not a CRJ pilot. I don't claim to have any experience with this aircraft whatsoever. So the format of this stream will be a little bit different. We're actually going to set up for the sort of tutorial guide that's included. I've learned quite a bit about this aircraft. Still lots I need to learn because it is inherently very different to the 737. But yeah, it's really, really cool. Very impressed with all the features that are modelled. And everything seems to be working reasonably well. There's a few little bugs and glitches which I've noticed and have seen it be documented already, but we're going to try and go through a flight profile as realistically as possible today. We're going to be starting off in Senegal for the first time, flying from Dakar to Tenerife, flight time of around 2 hours or so, and it'll give us an opportunity to set up for the aircraft, step through all the features that are included, have a look what's modelled, and see what you think anyway. LeJules, welcome aboard as a member, buddy. Glad you're enjoying the content. You'll get invited to our members only Discord. Enjoy your custom emojis in chat as well. Thank you very much, buddy. John Padfield, performance issues and crashes desktop put paid to my flight to Corfu. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that at the moment. Yes, there's a few issues with the sim here. Nice to see you here as well, Fearless Leopard. That's the creator behind the excellent Tupolev Tu-154. I've got to get back to you on your messages as well, Fearless. I've been so busy at the moment, buddy. Sorry for not getting back to you. Great news for the 742 finish with last sixes. Got amazing sound samples for engines. So lastly, create F1 package with the fantastic Fearless. We'll be looking forward to fly the 747-200 as soon as possible. But yes, great to see lots of people here. A lot of conversation going on in chat about the aircraft as well. Some quite interesting. It's just the community post. A lot of people are very critical with Aerosoft, but no, overall been impressed so far with everything here as well. Right, well, let's jump into the sim. So yeah, sort of go through the process of what I do before a stream, but I thought it would be quite cool to do something a little bit different here. So the Aerosoft CRJ, it comes with two CRJs, the 550 and the 700. Today, I'm flying the 550. I do have the 700, of course. The reason is they've got quite a cool private livery here. Now, I didn't want to be flying some other livery and so on going, oh, you're United Express, why aren't you flying from A to B in the United States? So I thought, well, if I go private, no one will complain. So we'll select that aircraft. Weight and balance you can set up in the EFB, which comes with this aircraft. So we'll select that one. Press close. Now, I actually saved a flight plan in SimBrief, and the great thing about Microsoft Flight Simulator is you can import SimBrief profiles, so I'm just loading that now in the background. Here's the SimBrief profile coming in. There we are. It does say 1 hour 45, it's about 2 hours 5, 2 hours 10 I found. The routing's really nice today. Leaving Senegal, I cannot pronounce this African country, never have been able to. Mauritania, I think it is. Western Sahara, kind of southwest of Morocco, over the Atlantic. This looks really nice. Test this sector this morning. It looks really good with the Bing photograph, whatever the word is, you know what I mean. The ortho looks incredible. So all I'm going to say is we'll start on stand 3 here in Dakar, and that's it. They still have this weird bug in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're going to go live time, live weather, but you have to start in clear skies. If you start in live weather doesn't always happen. The METAR is showing scattered at 800 clouds here. Earlier, the live weather was a bit slow to work, but you start clear skies, live weather then comes in later, unless they fix that, I don't know about it. But yeah, that's it, live time for sure, so it'll look really nice. Hopefully a little bit of a sunset flying into Tenerife, and we'll just simply click fly, and it should start us. Not completely cold and dark. They do say in the guides click cold and dark to make sure that you have it all set there. Yes, you got the words there. Photogrammetry. That was the word I was looking for, John Padfield. Thank you very much. Oh dear, oh dear. That word, you knew what I all meant anyway. Do we have any CRJ pilots in chat there? That would be worthwhile though. It would be great if someone could come in and give us some guidance. That would be great. But that's the whole idea of this stream. We're going to learn together all the perks of this aircraft. So a little bit of a different format, which is why I started the menu here. This is like 0 hours experience, even though I have done a test sector, just to have a little bit of a play with it. But yeah, we'll do everything as realistically as possible. I quite like how the automation works with this aircraft. It doesn't have VNAV, but it has sort of like level change, a speed hold mode, and then you just have to use the thrust D10s to put the thrust settings you need.
40.
Thank you very much, Fabio Aragoni, for the €5. Thank you very much.
Have a nice flight, Commander.
Thank you.
MSFS really needs some good liners to shine. Let's hope this is fine. Slightly smiling face.
Slightly smiling face. The optimism is not good. No, I've flown the test sector. Very impressed. Very impressed. And I don't know much about Aerosofts and their previous models. Look at it. I love the EFB here. It's really good. I'm just going to click cold and dark because I think it doesn't always start it with the engine. I might have started it here with the engines running. There we are. Cold and dark. There we are. But yeah, straight away, I mean, the external model, we all know that it's a beautiful sim, but we want to know how the aircraft fly. Do they fly accurately? We'll talk about it later when we get the flight, but it goes without saying, it looks absolutely phenomenal, doesn't it? The external model. Beautiful. Got chocks in there. Here we are in Senegal for the first ever time, completely cold dark. This is just a default airport, remember, by the way. But you've got my specs in the video description below. Because I'm on the coastline with no tricky scenery, I'm getting around. I'm getting 38 FPS at the moment, so yeah, pretty impressive. But yeah, we'll open all the doors, have a look at all the settings and stuff. It's going to look absolutely awesome. So let's jump into the cockpit there. But I'm going to put a little bit of nice background music on as well, and with this one here, because we'll be stepping through the manual carefully. Now I'm just going to start fly live at the top, because you guys always like to see all the flight data running in the background, so you can see information about where we started from, where we're going, our ground speed, all that usual information, because I obviously have started here in the menu. None of this was running here. So we're going from Dakar, which is GOOY. I love the code for this airport here. It's so cool. Golf Oscar Yankee. I've got the flight plan as well to bring up in the background too. And we're going to Tenerife South, Golf Charlie Tango Sierra. I've flown to this airport a lot. I wanted to fly to an airport that's quite familiar with me. With myself there. Right, call signs Alpaca 1. And that should now all be live. And you should be able to see all the flight information at the top there, which is cool. Very nice. Damn, it's a sexy bird. Yeah, it does look very nice. Pretty looking aircraft. Very good. Oh, you can change the cold and dark page default state with the aircraft spawned in. I did see that Climber 23, yes, when I was testing it there. There is a VNAV option on the tablet that gives you a VNAV button in the airplane. Have not tested though. Now, does the actual CRJ come with VNAV though, or is that just an option by Aerosoft? I quite like the idea of not having it and just using the speed and vertical speed pitch modes. I don't know if that's more authentic, but I quite like it. The CRJ looks like the 600. The CRJ looks like the poor man's Challenger 600. Very good. Flight sim, make sure you put your reactivity down in sensitivity settings on your Yoka runners. Makes it better to handle. I've done that already. Melu. I'm not completely set up for this stream, but I've been reading about it and a few of the things you have to set up here, so it's pretty cool. VNAV in the Dash 700 is not realistic. Okay. VNAV is only advisory. Yeah, I've seen the system in this aircraft with VNAV. You get this sort of VNAV advisory system. I don't think it's that accurate. I followed it in on my test sector and I wasn't finding the information it was providing that great, but we'll have a look at it when we descend into Tenerife. Cool. It is an option on the rear aircraft, but most don't have it. Very interesting, Michael Heffrey. Thank you for letting me know. There we are. The hair is one of these where you got to send it, but you cringe at the aftermath. Okay. Cheers, Anthony. Right, anyway, let's step through the process here. So imagine we got to the aircraft, we'd have the passenger door open, wheel chocks already in place. You can see the doors open there. We want that connected. So I think that means it is connected. Open, cabin lights. There we are. So you can see everything's opening up here. The cargo holes are so small on this aircraft, it's tiny. And I think they actually... Look, they're actually driving a GPU cart. Although that's a beast of a GPU. That's pretty cool. Is that Aerosoft or is that Microsoft Flight Simulator? Oh yeah, I need to put live weather on here. Are you on VATSIM? No, not today. Let's see if it actually loads it in. So it's scattered clouds at 800 feet here. did this earlier. And apparently we're live with it. This man cannot decide what to do with the GPU card now he's driving through the tug. Oh dear. The truck is Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll explain why it's driving all over the place. Cannot make the mind up where to put it, that's for sure. Anyway, we're going to be following today the safety checklist initially, the exact checklist, which is with the aircraft. There we are, GPU cart's finally parked there. So circuit breakers check, they're all closed. So unfortunately, they're not really in 3D, they're all flat. It's a bit of a 2D panel there, but they're not modelled either. Not many aircraft would have the circuit breakers all modelled, but 40, you can see they're all in anyway
30,
from here.
20. 10.
Thanks a lot, Dominic or CD, for the $5 donation.
Good afternoon, Captain Lucy and I are confident that the A team will shine on this street. Patrick Day.
Very, very cool. Thank you very much, Dominic Orsini. Yes, of course, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Not many people will be celebrating it today due to the restrictions and things, but fantastic. Thank you very much for your donation, Dominic. It's very kind, and we'll do our absolute best for you. Thank you very much. So, cool. So, circuit breakers are in. Nose wheel steering switch, verify off. And this switch needs to be off for the pushback. Otherwise, you could have issues. I mean, on the 737, we used to turn the A pumps off, but if you have a bypass pin installed, it doesn't matter. But we'll leave that switch off as suggested by the CRJ tutorial checklist. Hydraulic pumps, verify they're all off. I finally worked out in Microsoft Flight Simulator how to assign views and shortcuts. It's okay, I still prefer the explained version, because if you do that, look, you can't actually move your head all the way down, or any more than that. It's a bit of a pain, but at least you can get to the panel you want to look at, unless again there's something I don't know about how to set up the views here. Hydraulic pumps, verify at this stage that they're all off. Later on you'll turn them on. Landing gear lever, verify is down. It's in the down position. It's a nice pleasing wheel shape, just so you know. Someone actually asked me the other day, why is the 737 gear wheels shaped like a wheel and the flaps like a flap lever? The idea is if you know, it's ergonomically designed, so if you're struggling to see it, say if the cockpit's full of smoke in an emergency, you can actually feel for it and recognise what the switch is there. Very good. Hi, Mariana. Are you okay? Sorry? What did you say? Mariana's just being a fool. There we are. How much is this plane? I bought it for 40 odd, I think it was £41. I bought it directly from the Microsoft Flight Simulator store. But I think for what you'll see, what the aircraft is, there's a lot of stuff modelled here. Very impressed with all the systems as well. Brave Andrew, glad to see you've made it back from Torp. Yeah, that was our last stream on Sunday. That was eventful for all of our yeah, very, very busy. Yeah, but enjoyable nonetheless. So landing gear lever's down. Verify the flight spoiler lever is at 0. It's at 0. Radar is off. It's not simulated or modelled in FMS, but the switch is down here. You still get messages come up on the PFD and ND regarding the weather radar, but it isn't modelled. Landing or AMD manual release. So I think this is to do with a little like a ram air turbine or some sorts that comes down. I accidentally pushed this whilst doing the setup, and then it was making all sorts of strange sounds, but you can reset it in the FB. So yeah, it's the ADG manual release. It's an air driven generator. That's what it stands for. So it's like a little propeller. 737 doesn't have that. It relies on just the battery, the standby power systems powered by DC and AC. But yeah, this has the ability to provide some electrical power, I guess, in the event of total loss of AC power. Emergency flap switch, verify, is down. There we are. Or in normal. There we are. That's in normal. Next page then. Battery master switch will turn on, which is up here. There we are. So it's alive. We'll put the AC straight on the bus as well. Stops the battery depleting. There we are. So we're now got some power. And immediately you can see it's coming alive. And I mean, we're going to step through a lot of the ICAS pages in the cruise, but it's all modelled, guys. I'm very impressed. Someone told me, oh, Aerosoft, they don't model the systems that well. As far as I could see, every single ICAS page is working. They work. All the space seems to be working. Very impressed with regards to those features. So really, really nice. On the back of the yoke column, it's a stick shaker, and it's a stick pusher as well. We'll test it later. But yeah, being a T-tail, it's inherently dangerous in the stall, I guess, with this particular design. Well, we know it is, but I guess with the CRJ, like with the ERJ series, they have a stick pusher to push the nose down prior to a stall, so you don't actually get to a position where the airflow is not over the horizontal stabilizer of the elevator, so you can't recover. So pretty nasty in a T-tail, but that's probably why that has that system. So batteries on, APU as required, or AC power as required. So we've got on the external power. I won't start the APU just yet to save some fuel. Emergency equipment checked, gear and safety pins checked, aircraft documentation we then check. Hydraulic 3A pumps as required. The CRJ's hydraulic system is comprised of 3 hydraulic subsystems. Can you actually see? I think the switches are in the way, but yeah, you see 1, 3A, 3B, and 2. The main hydraulic pump system 1 and 2 are engine-driven pumps, while the system 1 and 2 are backup, as well as system 3 pumps are electrical as well. The second pump of system 3B is a backup pump. For this tutorial, leave them off at this stage. Okay, so we'll leave them off. FMS initialization. So we're only going to do the initialization at this stage. I think I might have knocked something there. What did I knock? Oh, I knocked something with the mouse wheel or something, and it came up with an ICAS ding. I hope it wasn't critical. But anyway, let's load up. We're not going to put the full routing in at this stage, just the initialization page here. Is that an escape hatch? Yeah, have a look at this, guys. Yeah, it's there's a little escape hatch up there. It's pretty neat. Well, I say it's pretty neat. You never want to be able to use this, but you can see it on the top as well. There you go. Pretty interesting. Wonder why they put that in there. So anyway, that has it. Anyway, let's load the FMS. So we're just going to put the basic data here. We've got the latest AirAC installed. We're just going to say our position. So we're in Dakar in Senegal. So Golf Oscar Yankee. Sort of similar to the 7.3, this setup here. GPS position. Set position, and then we'll put the IRS to align now. The IRS switches are on the pedestal down here. There they are. So IRS, oops, I just released the parking brake. IRS, that's fiddly. To nav, there we are. So that started the alignment process. And that's it. You can see the IRS alignment time to the real value. If you want to initiate POS in it now, you can. I've got it set to on the EFB to kind of normal, so I think it takes 7-8 minutes, as it should do based off your latitude. Onto the overhead panel. So it might look like we're all over the panel here, but this is the exact tutorial that is provided with the CRJ, so we're going to follow it. I guess the process would have a bit more of a structured flow, but the 737, our flow is a bit all over the place at my operator. You start off at the bottom and work your way over the top like in a rainbow fashion, then you do the panel scans, but this is exactly how it's set up here. So emergency light switches, it says arm, well, it says on and then put to arm later on. No smoking and seatbelt signs. Put to auto at this stage, so you have to use the mouse wheel, or you can click, so I'll put it in auto, so that's the best view for you guys there. Check the internal external pre-flight check, so Jim will be doing the walk around at this stage. Pedals, seat and harnesses checked. Oxygen mask test. That's really cool. What is also very, very neat as well is the maintenance section here. So you can see you have crew oxygen. So I don't actually know how you can use the oxygen. Now testing it doesn't seem to deplete it. Yeah, oh look, it does. I mean, if you can't say Aerosoft hasn't modelled it well, I mean, when you do the test, it is actually taking a little bit of oxygen from the system to test it, which is why the PSI drops slightly. But yeah, you can refill it all here, reconnect the IDGs if you've disconnected them, stow the oxygen masks, reset brake temperatures. You can stow your backup generator through the blade. It's really quite impressive that they've got all this stuff here. We tested the crew oxygen and masks, audio warning panel checked, that's over here, verify that there's no warnings, so they're all extinguished. That's looking good. We now go to the electrical power panel on the overhead panel, which is up here. Verify all generator switches are on auto. So it's very Airbusy, guys. There's no need to, like with the 737, turn generators on, switch buses. It's all automated. It's the way aircraft should be, I guess, but I like my archaic 737. All generator switches then are in auto, so these are these three switches here, they're all in auto. RG disconnect switches are guarded, yes, we don't want to be pushing those today. DC service switch is off, and battery master switch is on. Fire detection, fire monitor test is completed, so that is here. So you basically hold the test button down, and there should be a little message that comes up on the ICAS, or maybe I think you have to bring up a separate test here. Hold it down for 5 seconds, and it says fire system okay and a green advisory light. I think you have to go to the second page because there's so many ICAS messages here. We can't actually see it at the moment. Long cam. What on earth is Skycam? I think it's the camera system. Now they haven't really. What's happened to my mouse here? Everything's been reset. Camera system. I'm just still getting used to it. Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's the ability to look into the kind of like the cabin, you know, for security reasons. So you've got little cameras here. Then for number 3, they've got this person. I don't know. Is he the CEO of Aerosoft? I don't know. But yeah, we could have him looking at us the whole time. But something is randomly modelled there. But that would be what that system is. So we've done the fire detection system and tests. Next is the external lighting panel. So we have AC power connected to the aircraft. So we want the nav lights on, beacon off, strobes off, logos off. Wing inspection light will be off as well during the day. Fuel panel, right, so let's now have a look at our operational flight plan and load up the fuel for this sector. So let's go, what's the shortcut I have here? There we are. So here's our operational flight plan. SimBrief has a profile for this aircraft, which is pretty cool. So we obviously have the CRJ 550 up here. Ran the test sector earlier, took block fuel. Fuel burn looks pretty close to SimBrief, and I know SimBrief flight plans are very accurate, having compared to real world flight plans for the 7.3. So yeah, we'll take today let's take 4.7 tons or nearabouts. Nearabouts we can with 4.7. So let's go here to the EFB and fuel 4773, that's fine. Passengers, I said we'd take 40. The aircraft's quite limiting. You can't take, if you take 50 passengers, look, 44 passengers, we're already at maximum takeoff weight, and we've only got around 2/3 of the capacity of the fuel tanks here, so this aircraft can't carry a full load of passengers and a full load of fuel. I don't know. It seems quite limiting, this aircraft, performance-wise. But we'll take 40 passengers, and like I do with my other streams, I'm going to imagine they've all got carry-on luggage, no checked-in baggage. And then we're looking for a zero fuel weight today of 29 points.
30, 20, 10.
24.2. Yeah, that's what exactly on the flight plan, which I'll show you in a second. Thanks, Gabor.
Finally managed to catch the stream live. I've learnt so much from your channel already. Thank you and God luck with the CRJ, Captain. Crossed fingers, medium light skin tone, open mouth smile, small airplane.
What was that, Microsoft Jane? Gabor, thank you so much for the £5 donation. Very, very kind. Thanks for the wishing me luck as well. I think we'll be okay, and thanks for your light skin toned, fingers crossed, aeroplane smiley emoji. That was hilarious. Thank you so much, Gabor. Very, very kind, and appreciate your donation. I'm glad you enjoyed the content. So you can see here, zero fuel weight 24.2 based on 40 passengers. If I bring up the flight plan here, you can see here, look, zero fuel weight 24.2. So I've worked backwards like I do with all the other aircraft I fly. Always make sure that the zero fuel weight matches the SimBrief flight plan to make sure it's all working correctly. So you can see it comes with a really nice performance table here. You can see your CG position with regards to your aerodynamic chord. We'd never look at this in real life, but you can actually get it in the OPT if you want to. And you can see we're all within limits. Look, CG's right in the middle, below the max takeoff weight placard as well. Yeah, EFB is quite nice. Set your takeoff flaps, your runway conditions, set your speeds. I don't know with regards to the CRJ if there's the option to reduce your takeoff thrust. There only seems to be one option, so you set toga and that's it. Whether you can actually take an assumed temperature or a reduced or fixed D rate, reduce your fixed D rate, I don't know. But there doesn't seem to be an option for that, just one thrust setting. But yeah, we've got the fuel hopefully loaded now, so we'll set payload in simulator. You'll see the watch outside. Look, when I press set payload in simulator, well, it did before. You could see it all moving around, so you knew it was doing something. And that fuel we wanted was 4.7. Let's just check the fuel tanks. Yeah, we are 4770. So I'm happy the fuel's been loaded. We can carry on with the rest of the checklist. So back up here on the overhead panel, ensure that fuel pumps are switched off at this stage, which is indicated with the lights being off. They are. We've got the 2 in-op lights. Bleed valve switches. Oh no, now go to the bleed air conditioning panel here. There we are. So bleed valve air switches are in auto. That's these ones here. Bleed valve switches in auto. Isolation valve switch open. Bleed source switch both engines. Both engines. There we are. APU panel is required. So it does say in the tutorial start the APU at this stage. I'm not going to yet. It's going to be wasting fuel at this stage here. Cool, guys. How are you liking the format of this stream? I know it's a little bit different. Usually I like to be up and running, but this is like a 0 hours, you know, exploring the aircraft together for the first time, interpreting what I know flying the 737 on the CRJ. So I hope you like the format. It might be a bit slower with the setup perhaps, but I quite like the idea of doing this first time flying aircraft. But we'll get airborne as soon as we can. We'd like to kind of step through everything and see how the system works, and it's quite interesting. This is kind of like the educational experience you get from flying any aircraft, so it's sort of like me testing it essentially. But I hope you like the format anyway. Let me know in the comments section afterwards as well. Fasten seatbelt sign will come on. Yes, that comes on later on the checklist, but I did put it in auto, I think. It told you to leave it auto in this stage anyway. Why does this plane have 70 plus seats? This one doesn't have, I don't think, 70 plus seats, but the slightly longer version does. The 700 was quite small, this one here. Right, so APU panel. We're going to start the APU later on, not as per the guidance in this checklist or tutorial. Overhead panel. As the engines are not to be started yet, check the start switches are in the off position and secured. So here's the engine start. Very simple. I love it. You push start, and although I don't like this system though, guys, we'll discuss it later when we start the engines. You actually have to move the thrust lever to the idle detent, and then there's a little red guard switch here. The actual engine shutdown position is not a fuel cutoff, it's actually to physically move the thrust levers to the shut-off position. I don't like that. I mean, I know there's a mechanical lock here and it would prevent you from doing it in flight, but still, don't like the fact that the fuel cutoff is linked to the thrust levers. Seems very alien. Right, we check the engine start panel and the engine switches now. For the hydraulic panel, hydraulic switches verify all off. You can check the ICAS hydraulic synoptic page, which is here. It shows you which systems are powered. Obviously 0 PSI at the moment because we have no hydraulic systems on. You can actually test them here at this stage by putting pump 1, 3B and 2 switches on. 1, 3B and 2. So 1, 3B and 2. There you are. It's very quick. I should think the PSI be a little bit slower to build up. You can see they've increased here. We have sufficient quantity for the flight. It should be, it says between 40 and 60%. We have 60% and 45, so that's fine. And that is it. It says setting the hydraulic pump switches to auto prepares them to be activated as soon as the engine started. The hydraulic 3A pump switch only offers an on-off positions, but you can also select this to on as well.
50, 40, 30, 20.
So it's very unusual
10.
to have on for these three and then on at the bottom for pump 3. Different. Thank you very much. Vickers DS, I'm attending the SpiceJet Airlines Cadet Pilot Program interview tomorrow. Any last minute prep tips? Fantastic news, Vickers. Best of luck is all I can say at this stage, such late notice. Any last minute prep tips? Make sure you know some. Go over for your ATPL theory knowledge, so all those tricky questions that they could possibly ask you, go through all that stuff there. Be confident as well, and you'll be fine. Best of luck, Vikas, with your interview. That's fantastic to hear there. Very, very cool. Got to keep Jim away from the throttle in flight then, said John. Yes, very unusual. Longcat, that's how it works in most military aircraft, the throttle fuel cut thing.
40,
very interesting.
30, 20, 10.
Captain Robbie, thank you very much for the $5. Very kind. Oh, it's better to Robbie.
Haven't donated in a while. Always great to learn from a real-world pilot. Best way to learn.
Thank you.
Thanks for your streams.
Thank you very much, Captain Robbie, for the $5. Very kind. You could donate as little as much as you would ever want. I never expect a donation from anyone, and all I ever want is guys to enjoy the stream. And smash the thumbs up button if you enjoy the content as well. Thank you very much, Captain Robbie. Glad to see you back here. Dave, is it harsh on FPS? No, it seems okay. Bear in mind that Microsoft's latest update for me personally, and from what I've been reading online as others as well, has been causing a lot of performance issues. Right now I have 35 FPS. Bear in mind I'm at a default airport close to the coastline with no tricky scenery, with no clouds, but I have been having FPS issues. I was really hoping to stream a GA flight quite recently in Microsoft Flight Simulator in a Cessna, but over the UK right now I'm getting these sort of periods where it's fine and then it goes down to 15 FPS. And I can't fix it. But for this test sector, it's been actually quite good. And my specs, we can see in the video description, they're okay. You know, they're average, but yeah, runs okay here. Cool. So we've done the hydraulics, guys. Cabin pressurization panel. You can check the ICAS page here. They obviously do this all on the first flight of the day. It is under ECS page, ECS, so you can see the pressurization systems, same as the 737. You've got 2 bleed air sources, which power 2 packs, which provides the conditioned air to the cabin, and an APU bleed as well available for the engine start and also to provide conditioned air. You have a panel on the overhead panel to you have a panel on the overhead panel here to control all the air conditioning systems as well. Recirculation fan switch you can turn on. It says make sure there's a switch here that says make sure it's fully turned down. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, it was the cabin pressurization. Make sure that's fully decreased. Emergency depressurization is guarded. And landing elevation you set here. You initially put your departure landing elevation, and then later on you put your destination landing elevation as well to assist with the pressurization system. Yeah, manual rate, make sure it's in full decrease, which is set there. So that's all done. Air conditioning panel checked. Pack switches we can now put in auto. Oh no, it says don't put in auto. Oh, it presumes I have the APU bleed on, so if I had the APU bleed on now, I'm going to start the APU now because I'll go out of sequence with the tutorial here and I'll forget to pressurize the aircraft. So, no, here we are, power and then start. It should be starting now. If I go here. Now, it's a bit early to start the APU, but the tutorial says, it actually says in the tutorial, virtual fuel doesn't cost you anything. Start the APU now, which is pretty funny. I think we go to the stat page. There we are, you can see the APU powering up. RPM increasing in the EGT. There's the APU inlet door that's popped open. A panel with a panel, yes. Probably should have said the air conditioning panel on the overhead panel. That portion of the panel, anyway. There we are. Looks like the APU started. Some nice hotel foyer music in the background for you, ladies and gentlemen, today. APU's available, so what I'm going to do is... I don't think you even need to disconnect the AC power, you just unplug it and it does that for you. So we'll do that.
50, 40, 30.
You can now put the packs on there now, so we've now got conditioned air coming into the cabin and the reset fans are on as well. Thanks to our favourite Ben for the $5, sir.
Love the streams for that. You deserve a nice cup of coffee.
Oh, thank you very much, favourite Ben67 _ for the $5. Very kind. I'm glad you enjoyed the content, and I'll make sure I get a coffee after this stream right on your behalf. So thank you very much there. Cool. So you can hear. I don't know if I turn the hotel foyer music down. The air conditioning. Pressurization system's now active. The pack's providing conditioned air. If we go now to the ECS page, there we are. Look, APU bleed air is providing pressurization to pack 1 and pack 2 with the green system. I like the ICAS system. It seems quite logical compared to the others. I like how it works. It's very, very nice. Very, very good. Will it be on VATSIM? No, not today, Juan. We're offline today for our first ever flight on this aircraft. So, that's now caught up with the tutorial here. Pack switches auto, recirc fan switches are on, temperature control mode selectors are auto. These all seem to work as well. They were changing the temperature in the cabin, which is pretty cool. We're going to leave those in the mid position. Ram air switch is off and guarded. That's here. Wing and cow engine anti-ice system switches are off. There they are. They are off. Ice detector system tests have been completed. Windshield switches, turn those on to low to prevent the aircraft windows from steaming up, so you have to use the mouse wheel for some of these switches. There we are, they are on low. Emergency light switches to arm, there it is. You can hear the ICAS scanning cross look if I move it on. Standby compass is checked. There we are. So it's showing 026, which I just match it with 024 here. I think that's close enough. It looks like 024 on there, to be fair. So that's done. Stall test. So someone was asking to do the stall test. So you pull this here, and it says when you complete the stall test, make sure that the pilot stick shaker is activated, the continuous ignition message occurs, the co-pilot stick shaker is activated, the stick pusher is activated. Loads of tests here. So look, you can see it pushing, see the control column moving, you've got lots of blinking lights here. I guess they do this on the first flight of the day to make sure all the systems are working. But yeah, that's a stick pusher system. Very, very cool there. Stick pusher and stick shaker on this aircraft. Yeah, it's got everything. Andrea, how do you turn on the windshield? It won't let me. I've discovered this with this aircraft yesterday when I was flying around with it, because I accidentally put the lamps to test and I couldn't use the mouse to turn it off. You have to use the mouse wheel to configure some of the switches on this aircraft. It's the only way instead of using the click. Try that. Whoever that was that asked the question. I can't see who it was now, it's gone away. How's the impact on FPS, says Giancarlo? Pretty good. I'm getting 35 FPS at the moment. In flight, I seem to be averaging around 25 to 30. But I am having FPS issues in Microsoft Flight Simulator generally with the latest update, as is many other people. So I can't fly over the UK at the moment. I don't know if it's just the UK update. I was bumbling around a Cessna 150 high-end settings, and it was, yeah, not great. 15 FPS, but this aircraft seems to be fine. Stall tests are done. Nose wheel steering, verify off. We did that at the start for the pushback. It's in the off position. There it is. Clocks verify set. Great news, ladies and gentlemen. You will like to hear this. You don't need to start the elapsed time when you take off. It does it automatically. I spent ages going, right, my viewers really get cross with me when I start the timer. How do I do it? I just took off because I couldn't work out how to do it, and it was going. So the elapsed timer is working perfectly. I guess it's linked to some sort of OFDM system, or perhaps it can monitor when you're airborne and start the elapsed time when you set takeoff thrust. Brilliant news, ladies and gentlemen. EFIS control panel set, so everything to control the displays is down here, so we'll set the local QNH here in Senegal, which is 1010. Actually, I'm just going to push B, guys. Yeah, it's great. Look, live weather. I even started with live weather, but it doesn't seem to be happy that the... Oh, no, it is now. 1009. Excuse me, Microsoft Flight Simulator. But yeah, the live weather does seem to be sometimes a little bit not live. I don't know, the default one. I hope they improve it at some point. Display control switches, verify in map. You can flick all the switches here so you have different views. Got an arc, full range ring, a plan mode, just like with the 737. Nav source, we're going to want that set to FMS. If you change it in flight and you're in nav mode, it'll go off nav mode, so be careful of that. We set the local QNH as well, which is now 1009. It thinks it's that, so that's great. Instrument panels, check, so just make sure there's no spurious warnings on the PFD and ND. All looks good here. ICAS and standby instruments are all set as well. Anti-skid test, I imagine that's done. Main landing gear bay overheat test is done. It goes into so much detail, this tutorial. I haven't even started loading the FMS here. Check the brake temperatures. We're on its first flight of the day. Engine syncs N1 or N2, so you can sync that to lower noise in the cruise there. Thrust lever quadrants checked. Pitch and roll disconnect switches are in. These are interesting. Why ever you'd need to do this, I don't know. I guess some sort of flight control issue. But yeah, you could disconnect the pitch and roll systems, or I guess it's a standby system. I don't know. Very interesting. Thrust levers check shut off. You need to arm them to use them as well, otherwise reverse thrust won't work. Radio tuning panel is checked as well. This seems to all work with my my Logitech radio tuning panel. Look, so I can change my frequencies, push the transfer button. It's pretty neat. That's all seems to be compatible, so I'm glad they thought about that. We have a backup radio system here as well, I think, so you can tune the frequency there additionally, as well as here on the primary way of setting the radio, but we're going to not be on that sim today. Display fan switches, normal IRS switches are in nav. Trims are set, so we're just going to have a quick look at the takeoff performance. We need takeoff trim of 6.2 units, and that is displayed on the stat page, I believe. There you are, so there's the trim. It's all electronics, there's no other way of doing it electronically. There you are, you can see the numbers changing where the mouse is. We'll put that to 6.2. There we are, so that's done. Aileron rudder trim verifies 3 and 0, so it's green, which means it's in the 0 position. I accidentally knocked it and it goes white when it's not in the neutral position, so that's pretty useful. Your damper switches engaged. I think they are down here somewhere. I pushed them each once. They are engaged apparently. Source select panel's normal. Lower pedestal is checked. And that's it. We're now ready, I believe, to load the FMS. So passenger signs verify on. Goes through that about 4 different times on this checklist. No smoking switch can come on as well. Landing elevation set. So the elevation here in Dakar, the station elevation is 85 feet. So you can see it's set to 20, and it's in 20-foot increments. So 40, 60, 80. Because you can't look at the same time, unfortunately. There you are. So landing elevation set to 80, and then we'll set that to our destination once we're airborne. At this stage, we can now turn the boost pumps on and checked. There we are, and put the fuel pumps and the boost pumps on, so that's done, all on and checked. Our temperature set. Now it's time to load the FMS. Only 42 minutes into the stream, but that was the whole idea of this stream, would be to go through the setup in its entirety with the included tutorial. Cool, so here's the FMS. Let's bring up the flight plan for you guys as well. So the FMS flight plan. It has a tutorial here, but how to step through it, but just based off my knowledge loading the one in the 7.3, it's pretty similar. So we've put our information already, our airport, we've told our position as well. It looks like the initialization is complete with the IRS because we have a PFD displayed. We'll go over here to flight plan and we'll start loading up all the information. So, scroll down here. We're in Golf Oscar Yankee. We're going to Tenerife South, Golf Charlie Tango Sierra. 800 miles. If we do a gross error check here, you can see here ground distance is 827, but that includes the full arrivals, so that's why there's a slight difference. Call sign will go for Alpaca 01 today. Always like to be Alpaca 01 on the inaugural flights. Made that up, but sometimes we do. That's done. This plane requires more preparation time than the Concorde, said Andrew. Yeah, I know, I've actually said with Concorde have been airborne in 50 minutes on the stream before, but yeah, it's the first time looking for it, and obviously we're looking at all the systems individually in a lot of detail and looking into what it should be doing, so that's why it's taking a bit longer, but it is good fun to do it this way. So we're told where we are, where we're going, departure arrivals. We're going to depart off runway 36 today. The surface wind right now is 280 at 10, so it slightly favours runway 36. So runway 36, no SIDS here at all, okay, so we're going to go to flight plan, next page, and we're just going to put our first waypoint in straight away because there's no SIDS at all, which is going to be direct to Limac. So out of here it'll be an omnidirectional departure, climb straight ahead to an altitude, and then turn en route to your first navigational waypoint in this case, which is Limax. From Limax up at Bravo 600 airway to Papa Echo. Direct to Maori.
50, 40, 30, 20,
Maori,
10.
Upper Lima 660. Thank you, David, for your donation, sir.
I am late, so maybe already answered, but did you start your flying career on this aircraft? Or a model of it? If so, how realistic is it?
Thank you very much, David Dillon, for your $5. Now, unlike the US, which I'm guessing is where you are from, there isn't a requirement to have 1,500 hours flying regional jets. I went straight onto the 737 with 300 hours flight time. You can have even less than that. But I know this is a very common airline for people to start flying when they start their flying career in the US here. So I've never flown this aircraft at all. I have zero experience flying it. Just going to see, kind of like with my flying experience flying the 7.3, how I can apply that knowledge to at least fly this somewhat safely. So thank you very much for your donation. I haven't flown it, and I don't know if there's any streamers out there who have. There no doubt probably is at the moment, the current climate, but I've heard it's not a bad representation of this aircraft. But thank you very much for your donation. Very, very kind of you, sir. There we are, Delta Kilo Hotel to Bipet. And from Bipet, Upper Yankee 422 to Vidri. And then that's going to be the arrival into Tenerife. So we go to flight plan, departure arrivals. Now, what did I do last time to get to the arrivals page? I think you press it again. There we are. Arrivals. We're going to be flying the ILS 07 via Zulu. It's going to be one of the Verdi arrivals, but I'm going to modify it slightly to fly to a 10-mile final. So Verdi 6 Golf and expecting vectors. So I'm going to execute that at this stage here. You can see, look, flight plan's already come alive in the ND, so that's a good sign. I'm just going to go to the legs page though and modify this slightly, just because the arrival takes you direct to the Tenerife OR, which is like on a 4-mile final for the ILS, which is not what I want to do. So I'm actually going to get rid of the Tenerife restriction. What's it done here? Verdi Tenerife, Verdi Tenerife. That doesn't look right. That didn't happen on the test sector. There you are, my bingo card players. Verdi Tenerife, Verdi Tenerife. Interesting. Right, let's go this waypoint here, which is the 10-mile point, directly after Verdi, the first Verdi. Let's put that up here. Verdi, direct to a 10-mile final. That's fine. That's probably what you'd be likely to get if you're coming in from the south there. So that's all done. That's executed. The routing information, guys, is in. I'll just get rid of the flight plan there. So once that's done. FMS flight plans in here. Oh, it goes on for pages and pages and pages. Departure arrivals we've done. Flight plan we've done. Departure arrivals again. Legs, check for any route discontinuities. To check the routing on the navigation display, you can put the MFD to plan mode. So we'll just quickly do that. Just make sure I'm happy with everything, guys. Don't want to get airborne and realise that there's an issue with the flight plan. There we are. And then it says go to the MFD advanced page. MFD advanced page. There we are. And that's the the plan EFIS function to step through the flight plan. I guess I'm not on the plan page. Look, 'cause it's not stepping through it. That's interesting. Now, why is that not... maybe I need to execute it. There we are. Execute. There you are. So you can step through your flight. Make sure there's no discontinuities. It's exactly like we do in real life. Just make sure it's all connected. So the FMS looks really well modelled. Like, everything's there. I'm really impressed with the flight management system. It seems to have all of these features modelled here, which is really, really cool. So I'm happy we've checked that. Let's go back to the message page for now, and then just put this back to the map. Which I believe is that one, and we'll put the range to something sensible. About 40-80 miles. That's perfect. So that's all done. VNAV profile. So it has this model variant here. We don't have VNAV. We're just using speed and vertical speed for our vertical profile, but it does have like a VNAV profile for you to follow. It basically fixed speeds which you bug manually using the speed mode, and you can see what they are on this kind of VNAV page, but it doesn't have a physical VNAV button on this option. You can change it in the menu if you want it there. And the idea is that we're going to climb initially to 250 knots below 10,000 feet, then use 290 knots, and then we'll convert to decimal 7.4. Same on descent, working backwards. 290, 250 on transition, or 7.4 initially, and go from there. And it has a basic, not VNAV, but like a VNAV guide, or I think they call it VNAV advice. I don't know, I found it's not very accurate, personally. I don't know if it needs fine-tuning, but I think it's just a fixed flight path angle at 3 degrees. But I followed it on the way into Tenerife earlier. I wanted to be descent like about 50 miles early. I was a bit like, that doesn't look right, but we'll monitor it on the way into Tenerife and see how it's getting on there. So that's all done. Radio nav aids set for departure. You can tune them manually or leave it in auto. So I'm going to leave it in auto. There's no nav aids I'm using. There is one nav aid here in Senegal. I've just realised I don't have Navigraph open here, so I'll show you where we are geographically. There we are. So there is one tuned. It's already tuned automatically. It's in auto. 13.1 for Dakar, and I can actually load up our flight plan from earlier. There we are. So we'll monitor this on the way, but you can see where we are geographically in Senegal, routing along the west coast of Africa. Really nice routing today. And that flight will take about 2 hours. We're nearly there, guys. 50 minutes in. 50 minutes in. We're just about to start the engines. Thank you very much for your patience. But it's been very fun going through this setup here. Oh yeah, when you set the V-speeds. There we are. So, settle. That's all you need to press. And there you are. V-speeds are set here. 126, 126, 136. And then our initial climb out is going to be 146. I'm going to probably pitch 150. And then around 500-600 feet, I'm going to push speed. So the flight directors will pitch to maintain that speed for us. That works out quite well. And that's exactly what it says to do in the briefing there. So, APU's on. Papers are on board. Takeoff data is set into the PFD. We'll now close all the doors. We're ready for our engine start. So, close. Wheel chocks removed.
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
Ooh, thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the captain and crew, welcome aboard this flight. We hope you enjoy flying with us.
Well, there you go.
All passengers to watch our cabin crew display the safety features of the aircraft.
How do I close everything? Oh, the doors are now closed. There we are. Ah, I wasn't expecting that voice there. What should we call the number one today, Becky? Let's go with Becky. Right, let's get it across it. Right, let's go to the ICAS page. Just double check all the doors are closed. There's doors. There we are, all green. Very, very nice. Close and lock. Check the ICAS page. And we'll imagine we've got our clearance, guys. So just prior to getting our engine started, do a little bit of a briefing, just as I would do with any of the other streams here. So bring up Navigraph for you. So here's the airport chart. We're on stand 3, pushback to face east. Well, I still can't master Microsoft Flight Simulator's pushback system. I'm going to do a straight pushback. Going out via Sierra, and then we're going to make a right turn backtrack. We're going to go full length for runway 36. No SIDs here. You go here, look, SID, no SIDs for departure. So what we're going to do is climb on runway heading, straight up to we're going to try and level off first. So if we go straight up to flight level 80 or something like that, I imagine that's the clearance. Alpaca 01, you are cleared to Tenerife South, omnidirectional departure runway 36, climb straight ahead, flight level 80, then flight plan route, and squawk 2000. There we are, clearance is done. So, Navigraph charts, runway QDM is 001, so I'll set that on the heading bug now. 001, there's the altitude here, so we'll set 8,000 feet. You'll need very good eyesight to be able to see all this. 8,000 feet set. There we are, so MCP's all looking good. Perfect. Guys, are you ready to start the engines? I think we are. So check fuel pumps are all on and the quantity. We checked the fuel pumps already. Fuel quantity, minimum required for this flight is 4.5. We've got 4730 on board. Hydraulic pumps, auto and on. They're all in auto or on. On in this case. Oh, it does say set to auto on all of them. That's strange. I think they should all be on auto. Yeah, it says on auto on the checklist, but I'm guessing the on is referring to that pump there. Let's just check the ICAS messages. The only ICAS messages I have are anti-skid. I reckon that is what I knocked earlier, guys. There we are, arms. We have less and less ICAS messages. That's a very good sign. Import spoilers, I think we need to, or spoiler-ons, we'll need to make sure the engines are aircraft powered, and I should think with Mac trim and stab trim will come on as well once the aircraft is powered up as well. Right, that is it. All we've got to do is get the pushback going and then start the engines. Excellent, so, nothing special here. I'm going to do the ye old faithful Shift P, see what happens. The tyres seem to be turning, but the central hub doesn't. I think that needs fixing.
50, 40,
dear.
30.
Thank you very much,
20,
Richard Wormsley,
10.
for your £5 donation. Very kind, sir.
Enjoying the stream, Captain. Is Navigraph anything like your real-life e-flight bag? Question mark.
Oh, thanks, Microsoft Jane. Thank you very much, Richard Wormsley. Let me just get the parking brake off here, otherwise we'll break the tow bar. Parking brake's released. Yes, Navigraph. We don't use Jeppesen charts on my operator. We use a different company's chart provider, but we used to use Jeppesen charts. And yeah, it's the real deal. When it's the best investment you can make for the flight sim. I've been using Navigraph charts now since I've been streaming or making content. You get real life jet charts. The Navigraph en route map is really accurate. All the airways are spot on. Yeah, it's very, very good. I don't know what they charge per month, but it's definitely worthwhile having. I've been signed up to them for a while, but yeah, definitely worthwhile getting, and very similar to the charts. They say do not use a real world flying, but they are the same charts in this, so very good. Thanks for your donation, buddy. Wheels don't turn like that in real life. Anyway, we're pushing back on our way, finally. So I'm just going to complete the pushback first, and then I'll start the engines here. It's a quick process. Love the fact that the taxiway edge lighting is pretty much everywhere on the taxiway. Right, Shift P. He's very much just dumped us. I love that. Right, let's start the parking brake. Oh dear. Right, let's start the engines. Very simple process in the CRJ. You press start. You can hear the packs disconnecting automatically, the APU bleed connecting, all automated. All you have to do is wait for 20% N2, and then you move the engine thrust lever to idle. RIP FPS, says John. FPS is okay. It might have been YouTube buffering, I don't know. So you got a little guard here. Oh, let me just do that again. Got to be quite quick here. There we are. Oh. There we are, and that is the idle position. You can hear the engine spooling up, or shutting down in this case. Why is the N2 decreasing? How come the N2 is decreasing, but it sounds like it's starting? I don't think that's worked properly. I think I might have broken it. Let's just try that again. That's better. I'll try that again.
30, 20, 10.
You cut the fuel, yeah. I think I was a bit. I accidentally cut it off again. Thanks a lot, Nate, for
Thanks for
$25.
the content.
You're most welcome. That's very generous of you. Thank you very much for your donation there, sir. Very, very kind. Just tried to get the engine started right now. Now, why is that? There we are. ITT. There we are. Ignition. I must have accidentally just cut it off again. It's a bit fiddly here, the joystick there. But yeah, it's starting nicely. That was very generous of your donation. Thank you very much, Nate, for $25. Glad you enjoyed the content. Slowly getting the ball rolling here in the CRJ for the first ever time. Really, really fun to be in this aircraft. Very impressed with it so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention as we display the safety features and procedures of the aircraft in case of an emergency.
Very good. And that's it. It's as simple as that, guys. Looks like it's all stabilised. Just simply push start. Love it. Start engine number 1.
In case of a drop in cabin pressure, breathing masks will drop from the
Sounds Australian.
placed over your head. If there is smoke in the cabin during the evacuation of the aircraft, the walkway emergency light
my
will
headset
display
there.
the
N2,
exits which are located
N1,
here and here.
and there's oil pressure.
In case of an extreme emergency landing, you'll be instructed to get
Slowly
into the
increasing.
brake
I guess that would need to be green to get fuel in. Seems a bit low, maybe not. About 5 psi. Let's get the engine started. Oh, it's so fiddly. And I've done it again, look. Just shut it down. It's so fiddly, though. I have to restart it. So basically, you've got to move that guard up, and that prevents you from shutting it off. But if you move the thrust lever up, and you haven't got your thrust lever in the right position... There we are. Now don't move it down again. We should be good now. Go outside for this
40,
one.
30, 20,
Good.
10.
Alan Story, thank you very much for your £5 donation, sir. Alan, I haven't heard from you for a very long time. He's one of our ex-members on the channel. We got him all set up on Discord a few months ago, and he left a while back as well. We sure miss having you around, but thank you very much for the donation, buddy. I hope you're doing very well, sir. And yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy our time flying the CRJ today. We've just got it all engine started up and running, eventually. But that was very enjoyable setup, and nice to go through all the setup to see how it works there. Right, now, I've got both engines started. Yeah, it's quite idle. My thrust levers are idle. I think there's a little bit of noise on my thrust lever. Now, I've got a couple of ICAS messages here. Mac trim and stab trim. Now, what configuration-wise have I forgotten to make sure that these ICAS messages are up? Not sure. Not sure. I didn't have that on the test sector, before anyone asks. Open the fuel gauge, done that, fuel starts complete. So, we're just going to do the after start checklist, but I think I've forgotten something here to get to make sure the Mac trim and stab trim lights are on here. Oh my goodness, I think I'm a bit behind here with the other stuff as well, so... we're still connected to the ground power, I think. How do I disconnect the ground power? I had to put the chocks back in to remove the GPU. Available light's gone off, and obviously it's connected to the APU here as well. Bleed valves and packs are auto and on. They are all in auto and on. Anti-ice is required. Probes are on now, so don't forget that. Especially with Microsoft Flight Simulator's icing model. Probe's on. We'll leave the windshield heat in low. Electrics checked, rudder and flight controls. Nose wheel steering can be armed. We're going to do flight controls checked imminently, that way we can taxi. APU shut-off sequence can now start, so it says APU start, stop switch to stop. There we are. DC and AC electrical panel check. There we are. So IG's connected, providing power to bus 1 and bus 2 respectively. And that's powering the ESS bus and service bus, providing electrical power to the aircraft. So that's done. And now it's ready to taxi. So, we just have the issue with the Mac trim and the stab trim, which I reckon I could have knocked accidentally whilst doing this setup somehow. Because I've not seen that come up before on the test sectors I was doing previously. Someone said start taxiing, it goes off automatically. Mac trim is in the middle rear of the centre console. Your dampers here. Middle centre. I'm sorry about this, guys, but yeah, I've not seen these come up before, and obviously not type rating, so I can't find it. It's lit up in yellow, says Mac trim. Oh my goodness, right in front of me. Inoperative. Alright, I've got the stab trim working out, but Mac trim is inoperative. There we go. Yeah. Maybe a CRJ pilot yet. There we go. Perfect. Right, let's turn the music off. All ready to go. I must have knocked that at some point, or I perhaps missed that on the setup here. It's very hard with these sort of styled buttons to tell if they're being engaged or disengaged, unless the light's on during the setup. But that's done. Yeah, flight controls we just need to check before we taxi. And then we've done everything as we should have done via CRJ pilot. Flight controls. So let's make sure the joysticks are working. So elevator full up, full down, aileron left and right. Here comes the rudders. Full left and full right. So flight controls are checked, trims are set, we've got 6.2 units, that's checked. Thrust reverser is armed, that allows us to select reverse thrust. Reverse thrust won't work, so we'll need that in the event of rejected takeoff for sure. Flight instruments checked, FMS is loaded, brake temperature's checked, it's our first flight of the day, there should be no issues. We're finally going to be moving under our own power. 1 hour, 3 minutes into the stream, but do bear in mind the first 15 minutes for setting the flight up. But, there we are. Right, let's put on recognition taxi lights to on. I'll put the nose light on. Shall we go to Tenerife, ladies and gentlemen? Release parking brake. And we'll talk about the takeoff profile shortly. There we are. So, taxi, guys. We're going to be making a right turn onto Sierra, and then we'll make a right turn onto runway 36 and backtrack there. So, let's go. Did release parking brake, didn't I? I did. So, there's no config check. Oh, yeah, the only other thing was the flaps for departure, which was 8. There we are, flaps as well. I must have missed that on the profile, but I think the flaps checklist item comes next. That would have been embarrassing if I took off with the flaps up. Now, I think this could be a Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you have full right on the tiller, you need so much thrust to get it going. I mean, it's moving now, but I'm up at 72% N1, and then, I don't know, it's like the nose wheel's made out of plastic. Look, it's turning, but... and then you turn right. I mean, the other aircraft have those issues in X-plane, but you can see, look, it's a little bit sticky sometimes. But anyway, we're holding up this Cessna. I'm seeing some AI traffic that wants to go flying. There we go. Yes, again, we seem to have taxiway edge lighting all over the place. There we go. Yeah, it's an issue a lot of Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft. Yeah, there's the grip of the wheel with the tiller full left or full right. I mean, in the 737, if you were going at 20 knots, you go full left, it will skid, of course, and also if it's wet. But you can usually move with full tiller, and you usually have to take off thrust on the inboard engine, but it will still accelerate. Anyway, we're on our way. So I'm going to do the before takeoff checklist now. Oh, this presumes you're aligning up on the runway, but we'll just do a little self-takeoff briefing here, and we'll talk about how we're going to configure as well. Those are all slightly ahead of the pilot here too. So flaps we have set for 8, and that was what we had set for our performance. Flaps 8, flap 20 will be for a short field performance. We have all the VRF speeds set, 26, 26, 36, 26, 26, 36, they're all on the PFD, so I'm happy with that. Stab trim set for departure, 6.2 units setting, takeoff briefing. Let's check the air conditioning system, make sure the aircraft's all pressurised properly, so that's under ECS. So we have engines providing pressurisation for the pack, they are green. Temperature here is all good as well, so the aircraft's pressurised. And the panel's set. Takeoff then, takeoff runway 36. We're going to climb runway heading until we get to flight level 80, and then we're going to turn on route. We're going to select nav mode. to fly to our first waypoint, which is Limax. And then our cruise climb level is today's flight level 390. Now I should have probably turned right there because the taxi line goes off to the left there, but we'll make a right turn anyway. And obviously, yes, we get our takeoff clearance, but today we're offline today, so I'm just going to line up straight away before anyone starts criticising. And then we'll backtrack now for runway 36. So I'm just going to get the aircraft configured for departure here. So lights and strobes as required. So we'll have all landing lights on, strobe lights on, beacon. Yeah, beacon. Don't forget to turn it on prior to pushback. I didn't say that in the checklist, but that's not an excuse. But that's very important to have that on. Otherwise, people might not think the aircraft's powered or moving under its own power. Ignition and anti-ice as required. It's not required. Fuel transfer flow manual and off. So it's off. We just have the fuel pumps on. Now, oh yeah, boost pumps need to be on as well at all times, otherwise it moans at you. So fuel pumps and boost pumps are on, cross streets closed. Flight attendants advised, transponder, verify TRA, that's down here. That is... what's it, this page? That's how to set the squawk on. How do I can't remember how to get that to turn on. Still on standby, unfortunately. Transfer proceed. Transponder, please activate transponder number 1 by turning ATC selected to 1. I don't know. I do not know, and I did find out earlier. That's set the score. There's a way to get to another page. Ah, here we go. Auto, traffic on. Okay. Looks like it's on. We want it on above. Test it. ABS and REL, never seen that terminology before, but it's in auto. I'm guessing in auto and TA only because we're close to the ground here. Because you don't want an RA telling you to go into the ground, basically. Make sure you see where you're taxiing as well. So that seems to be all on, working correctly. Radar terrain as required, but it's not simulated. And check the CAS panel. CAS. Make sure you have no ICAS messages. We have no ICAS messages. Talks about the CRJ FADEC engines, how it'll automatically calculate your climb thrust setting for you. But remember, there's no VNAV, you have to manage the speed manually. There we are. I think all the checks complete. Next, it talks about the normal takeoff profile, so that's what we're going to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has advised that we are now cleared for takeoff.
How did he know that? How did the aircraft know? Very interesting. Right, anyway, guys, get your togas in chat. Well, before I do that, I will obviously talk about how we're going to do the takeoff here. And this is based off the guidance included here in the CRJ. Just obviously need about full power to make this turn. Oh, it just doesn't like turning. Looking good though. The TCAS knob is below the weather radar knob. You have to switch it to 1. Yeah, I didn't actually do that. Yeah, something's... And this isn't the Aerosoft CRJ. It's like Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've got my N1 here at 56%, and it's just... I'm not braking. It's just like... It's just won't... It doesn't go round quickly on tight turns. Right, there we are. Well, there was a Cessna bumbling around, so we probably best turn TCAS on. Right. Pointing in the right direction now at least. Let's just set the parking brake before we go. Right, so where was this TCAS button on? Weather radar system is down here. So gain, tilt, that should be at +5. That should be to weather. And our man said the TCAS knob is below the weather radar knob. You have to switch it to 1. Ah, got you. No, it's saying 2000. Thank you, thank you. Cool. Right, so how does takeoff work in the CRJ? Well, the tutorial says spool up the engines to 50%, make sure the engine's stabilised, and then move the thrust lever to the toga detent. Takeoff is then normal. I guess light forward pressure to 80 knots. Not sure on the CRJ. I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I do in the 7.3. Rotate V1 hand off the thrust levers, rotate at VR, and we'll initially fly at V2 plus 10. And then the tutorial advises us to select speed mode at V2 10 to +15 knots. then call your roll mode, then engage the autopilot, and then we'll bug up essentially. And then, yeah, speed, like, it works like level change. You just pitch for the speed you want to fly, and it'll follow for that. And it worked on the test sector. We'll see what happens now. But I think we've done everything. Do one more external view before we blast off as well. And let's now go to Tenerife. Flight time about a couple of hours or so. Are you guys ready? We'll wish me luck. This is only the third ever takeoff I've done. So, parking brakes released. Just going to get the, sorry guys, the alerts muted as well, so don't get distracted. There we are, let's do it. So, I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit here, because you're going to be able to see the engine instruments. So, I'm going to hold it on the brakes here, 50%. And you'll get a little ECAM message come up here to tell what detent we're in here, so that's all looking good. I'm going to release the brakes. There's toga, set takeoff thrust. Looking for 88.9. It's a little bit slow to spool up. Just be a little bit quicker than that. There our airspeed's alive. We've finally got 88.9. There's 80 knots. There's V1. Rotate. Oh, there we are. It's a bit sensitive. We're airborne. Positive climb. Gears coming up. I know what I forgot to do. Damn it. I forgot to push toga. There we are. I forgot to push toga on the front. Really annoyed by that. Positive climb. Gears up. I'm going to select speed now. Hopefully it'll accept that. Yeah, that was. I completely forgot to select toga on the auto throttle. That's really annoying. A little bit higher on that altitude. 20 degrees now. I'm going to lower that nose. Turn it to command to 229 knots. We can now follow the flight directives. I'm going to select the flaps to 1, I think is the initial flap setting of 8, and then we're accelerating, select flaps up. So yeah, because I didn't push toga on the auto throttle, I didn't get the flight director guidance off the initial rotation. But now it's commanding 227 knots, so I'm now going to select nav. So now the flight directors are going to fly direct to our first waypoint, Limax. The flight director in pitch now is commanding me to lower the nose to accelerate to 227 knots. It's a sort of a high altitude. We're maintaining 4% in 1 now, and I think we should have the thrust lever in climb. There we are. And then the aircraft's FADEC will work out the thrust setting required based off the external conditions there. So I'm still trimming nose down here. Just going to get it all trimmed onto the flight directors. Looking good. Let's engage now. Just make sure we're on the flight directors here. There are autopilot's engaged, and it's levelling off at flight level 80 because I was a little bit late doing everything there. Ooh, come on, lower the nose, lower the nose. Why is it not lowering the nose? We're going to have to do it manually. So, I wasn't doing a great job following the auto throttle. The flight director's levelling off there. Now it's commanding a descent. So I'm just going to look through the flight directors there. Level off at flight level 80. Honestly, nowhere near as smooth as my takeoff, my test flight. That's all been a bit rushed. And it's all because I didn't push toga there. PF, guys, were you not listening to me? What? Why is the timer not over? It's because I didn't push toga, did I? How could doing one little thing like that completely screw everything up? Forgetting to push toga, didn't get the clock anything. Right, trim, trim, trim. Let's see if I can get the automation back in. Right, autopilot's in, and it's levelling off at flight level 80. Remember, manual thrust here. I have to control the thrust here. There we are. Yeah, so, guys, very happy with the departure, apart from one thing. There's a little switch here, which is to push toga, and I guess that's linked to the timer, because when you push that, how's the timer actually... I can't even get it to start now. Well, I'll start the chronometer. That's the next best thing here. So, yeah, by not pushing toga, it seemed to have... affected everything. Like it didn't want the flight directors to level off. Again, I'm not a CRJ pilot, but omitting that one thing caused a few issues there with the flight directors. But we're here now, level 80. I'm just accelerating manually to 250 knots. So remember, there's no auto throttle. You have to control the speed manually. This is just a reminder here that we're at 250 knots. There we are, and we're all done. Are you still at flap 1? I think the flaps are up. Yeah, flaps are still up. I might have to retract the flaps, don't worry about that. Right, let's just do the after takeoff checklist quickly before we climb up at flight level 100. So, Fuel and cross-feed flow. Set the cross-feed valve set to auto. Verify all lights are out. So it is in auto. Bleeding APU is set. APU is meant to be off. Light passenger signs as required. Fresh reversers can come off. There we go. And CAS checked and cleared. Let's go to the CAS page. There we are, CAS. So the only thing is you've got to make sure you keep an eye on your speed, guys, because you're having to control that manually. Looking all good. So you can see the cabin altitude's nice and low, so it tells me it's pressurising. There's no ICAS messages. I'm happy with everything here. So after takeoff checklist is complete, we'll now continue climb to our cruise level, which is flat 390. 390 is set. Oh gosh, you really do need good eyesight. 390 set. Select speed. Aircraft's now going to maintain speed. It says out cap. I'm going to put it in climb anyway. Out cap speed. There we are. Climb 250 knots. So the aircraft's going to pitch to maintain 250, and there we are. After takeoff check is complete. So yeah, guys, takeoff. Okay, not bad. The problem was by not pushing toga, I kind of rotated and just lost the flight director guidance, which is fine. You can look through the flight director, so just pitch for something sensible. I pitched for V2 plus 10. It was around 20 degrees nose up a little bit. You don't want to be going much beyond 20 degrees nose up there. But it was all safe. You know, we looked through the flight directors, pitch manually to maintain to accelerate to 220 knots, 230 knots. And then once we realised the automation wasn't working properly, could be down to the fact that I didn't push toga at the start there. I'm so annoyed at, honestly, I don't know how I missed that in the step, but yeah, very important to push that the same way as you would with a lot of aircraft. Make sure you're in the toga mode or takeoff mode. But anyway, we're up now safely. We're going to accelerate now to 290 knots, which is our initial climb speed. And again, this is like level change in the 737, so I'm just going to book 290. It's going to pitch or lower the nose now to accelerate and climb at 290. We're in the climb, so the FADEC's going to control the optimal thrust setting required for climb, and then we'll leave it like that until we get to throttle 390. So we can now do the post-cruise checks, or pre-cruise checks, sorry, not post-cruise checks. There we are. So passing 10,000 speed to 290 knots, which is what we've done, and we can turn off the landing lights. Verify APU's off, check the pressurization as well. So pressurization, cabin altitude's climbing at 1,000 feet per minute. Differential pressure will be 5.2 psi, looking all good and set. Happy to release the passengers as well. They're already off. I'll put it in off. Or auto, sorry. And you can smoke your cigarettes as well. And there we are. Pre-cruise check is complete. We're on our way. What do you think so far then of the CRJ, guys? Genuinely, I like it. I really do. I mean, I'm not justifying all of its abilities here. I don't fly this aircraft, but but I've got an idea of how it works. And yes, we've got it up safely, just about. Music's a bit loud. Yeah, I just noticed 86. Just turned it down a little bit. Beautiful weather here. I should think it's meant to be a little bit cloudier, but we all know what Microsoft Flight Simulator is like with their live weather. Hopefully we'll get some clouds going into Tenerife. And you get this weird blustery, can you hear that blustery windy noise if I turn the music down? Yeah, that's Microsoft Flight Simulator's environment sound settings. One of the members pointed out beforehand, so don't like that. Cessna Man, he doesn't look at chat, which is annoying. Touche. It's very hard, Cessna Man. We've just taken off. The setup in particular, I'm very, very busy. Rest assured, when we get into the cruise, I'll have a much more capacity to be able to look at all the questions coming in here. I do try my absolute hardest. But that message did pop up quite quickly. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds like we're stood in a bit of a windy alleyway. Looks great as well. finally got all my view assignments now, so I don't have to keep going into the view settings here. FPS is okay at the moment. That's probably because we're flying over the ocean more than anything. I found that I don't have the performance issues then. I'm right now at 40 FPS. So yeah, I think if you look at my specs, it's fine. But if I fly over any considerable amount of mountains or clouds, yeah, my FPS does die. A great looking plane, said Longcat, agreed. Screens are a bit on the small side. Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to see this, and obviously with the stream compression and the quality you see, it's obviously a little worse. But yeah, they are small. It is a bit more difficult to see. I mean, I have to really zoom in here for you to see it in any detail, unfortunately. But that's more down to the stream, guys. But it is small. I mean, here right now, I can't really see the speeds, which is why you saw the takeoff roll. I'm quite zoomed in. I will be on the approach as well, a little bit zoomed in too. Jason Dictor, what do you do when you do go to the transition altitude? Does speed still work? Yeah, in climb or descent, speed still works. And I believe when I maintain 290, when it gets to 7.4, which is what we're at now, does it convert to maintain that automatically? I think it did on the test sector. It's still commanding 290 knots here. There we are, look, it automatically is just transitioned to pitch now to maintain decimal 7.4, which is pretty cool. So you'll notice that the speed bug will move away now as it pitches to maintain decimal 7.4 as opposed to the indicated airspeed. Sister man. I get it, I didn't mean to be rude. I know you didn't, but I do try. Oscar, Aerosoft really did a great job, but Asobo should be looking into their physics, especially with ground handling like that. It shouldn't be too difficult to work out. Oscar, I'm inclined to agree with you. This is the first sort of detailed commercial aircraft I've had. One thing I've flown in this sim, one thing I noted, and I'll point it out in the test sector, is parasitic drag. When you get faster, guys, obviously the amount of drag increases. There's no auto throttle in this aircraft, and you'll see later. When we level off, I'm just going to turn the noise down the sim here slightly. That's better. When we level off, I'll set a thrust setting to maintain around decimal 7.4, and it seems quite speed unstable. It'll either increase or decrease. Now, generally, what I do, and this is the same with the 737. Now, we have an auto throttle in the 737, but I have flown one with the auto throttle in operative, probably half a dozen times in my career. And what you'll find is, if you level off, set your target thrust setting to maintain, I don't know, decimal 7.7.
40.
Well, thank you
30,
very much, Gordon Smith, for your
20,
£5. Very kind.
10.
It's nice to be shown how to fly by a real pilot. Could you ask Mariana if she knows one?
Thanks a lot, Gordon Smith, for the £5 donation. Unbelievable. That's 2 out of 10 for that comment. Very kind, Gordon. Thank you very much for your donation. I think Mariana does know a pilot. I don't know one, but I'll ask her later. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Yes, also, as I was saying about parasitic drag, in the 737, flying it a few times the auto throttle in op, when you level off, you set your target thrust setting to maintain your speed, and it's pretty rock solid. You might have to make slight adjustments occasionally to maintain around that target speed, but generally what you can do is set an N1 a little bit higher. Let's say it's decimal 7.4, and just allow it to accelerate very slowly. And obviously, as you get faster, the parasitic drag increases, and then obviously the drag will overcome the thrust, and it'll all be in equilibrium. There'll be drag equal to the amount of thrust, and the aircraft stops accelerating. What I found here in the CRJ is, we'll do the same here, we'll level off, I'll set a thrust setting to maintain decimal 7.4, and the speed will either drop off or go faster. Once I've fine-tuned it to get it where I want it, I'll just set it a little bit above, about % N1, it'll accelerate, but it'll keep accelerating. I literally leveled off at 0.74, and added about 1% N1, and it went 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, 7.8, and it didn't seem to want to, I don't know, it felt like it was lacking in parasitic drag. Now, I don't want to know how hard it is, or I don't even want to begin to believe how hard it is to model this sort of stuff. It must be incredibly challenging, but I think it needs some fine-tuning, and I guess they haven't really had any aircraft that have been modelled accurately to recognise that. But it works really well in X-Plane. I've flown the FlyJ Sim aircraft plenty of times, no auto throttle, you level off, you set your target speed, and then you set a little bit beyond that, you might increase your Mach by 0.1, 0.2, and then it'll stop accelerating because the drag obviously overcomes the thrust, and it's usually pretty stable. But yeah, I don't think the parasitic drag here is that well modelled at high altitude or high speed. It needs fine tuning, and I think that's an area. Don't get me wrong, I'm not. It's not a criticism. I think it's an area that just hasn't been tested enough, and now we have aircraft coming out now which are well modelled. Which I trust me, I've got no relationship with Aerosoft whatsoever. I haven't had a release copy. I've never spoken to them in my life, but it's just my opinion. And I found that on the test sector here, yeah, I think there needs a bit more parasitic drag or something, or the aircraft accelerates too easily. I don't know. Maybe the real aircraft performs like this, but there you go. Robbie, isn't the speed button on the MCP auto throttle, or does it just adjust pitch to hold speed? It just adjusts pitch to hold speed, Robbie. There is no auto throttle on this aircraft. So as we level off here, we still have the detenting climb. Very Airbus-esque. You can see the aircraft here is levelling off. Now, the other thing I've noticed, look, we're trying to maintain a target of 0.74 and it's dropped off to 0.72. I should think it'd be a little bit more rock solid at maintaining that speed. But yeah, it's all levelled off here. But yeah, I say criticism, I really hope Microsoft Flight Simulators fix their performance issues. Yes, the performance is fantastic right now. I'm getting 40 FPS. I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with Africa
50,
on the side here, but
40,
I cannot right now
30,
fly a Cessna 150
20,
300
10.
feet above the ground, getting 15 FPS. Right, leveled off anyway. Thank you very much for Stephen King for the £5. That's very, very kind. Glad you enjoyed the content. You'll get invited to our... No, you're not a member. Stephen King, I'm on replay. Thanks for the donation, buddy. But if you ever want to join a Discord, please do. I was on bloody automatic. There, thank you very much there, buddy. Very, very kind. Cool. Alright, so you can see we've leveled off. I've not touched the thrust, so the aircraft is correctly accelerating. So I need to manually set a target thrust setting. You can see that the message here has gone to manual. So I'm just going to take a bit more thrust off here because I've obviously accelerated here. I'm going to get back to Mach decimal 7.4. We're going to fine tune this to find an N1 to maintain decimal 7.4 as best as we can. It does take some fine tuning. So here comes the thrust. The engine's quite responsive. I mean, turbofan engines are very unresponsive at high altitude. Like, it takes 4 or 5 times as long to spool up. The 737 does anyway. It's taught during the type rating is the importance of not closing the thrust levers if you overspeed, because it can take up to 20 seconds for the engine to spool up at high altitude. Right, so I'm still fine tuning this here. Let's go for around 80% N1. I think I made a note. 81% was what was working earlier. There's no auto throttle. Let's go for about there. That's 80.7, 80.8, and you can see, look, it's holding 738 quite nicely actually. So let's leave it at there. Let's leave it there for a few minutes and see what happens. It's actually rock solid. But yeah, I wrote it down on my test sector. It was 81% earlier. And it's holding decimal 7.4 very nicely. So yeah, guys, no auto throttle, no VNAV. When you level off, you'll have to manually set your thrust to maintain your target speed, just like you would in a 737-200 or a 727. There we are. Might not need to change it. Everything I was saying it was complete rubbish. But I noticed it earlier. Just if I was dropping off a little bit there, I set a slightly higher target M1. But it's rock. I don't want to touch it now because it's rock solid. That is rock solid. It's dropped off slightly. Look, it's gone back up. Let's just. I'm just going to increase it by about 1%. Now this is an experiment. We'll actually make a note of this. Everyone, 80.7 seems to be perfect at this cruise weight. Of course, it works perfectly. Now, right, if I just set an extra couple of percent N1, that's very fiddly here, and we just want to see how it accelerates. You'll see, it'll accelerate a bit, but I don't expect it to accelerate by about another 0.1, 0.2. But I found earlier it kept getting quite close to MMO just from being an extra percent. There didn't seem to be much drag slowing it down as we accelerated. Dominic, can anyone define the term N1? I should think it's percentage routed to complete you know, full power being 100% or 104, you can go a little bit beyond that. The speed of the N1 fan, the main fan blade, at the front of the aircraft. So this one here. That'll be my off the top of the head explanation of it. So you can see, look, we're now up to 757, 758. So even though I've only increased the M1 by a couple of percent, it is accelerating still, but I'd expect it to really stop now with the parasitic drag, but you can still see it's still accelerating. I mean, I could be wrong here, but I'm just talking about the 7.3. I wouldn't be able to expect to increase it by just that little amount and expect it to keep accelerating, but we'll see how fast it will go. Kian Arthur, on my way to Chicago from Dublin in the new A330, Aer Lingus 2 hours and 34 minutes, 4 hours 44 minutes left, expecting a sunrise over Canada. Heavy boy, this plane started off 105 tons of fuel, 294 passengers. Very interesting. Have a safe flight, sir. Gilliam, hello. Hello, Captain. Why did you stop with the 757 flight factor liveries? Is that you're trying to say there? Thanks, Jim. Jim's given you a far better explanation of what N1 is. You know, all it says is DEFCON 2 is it's the speed of the main fan at the start of the 737. It's actually the speed of the low rotor of the engine, which includes the fan, low pressure compressor, low pressure turbine. All those bits bolted together. Robbie, is there any cabin modelling on this aircraft? Any over-wing views? Now, I'd love for someone to try and help me, because I could not work it out earlier. Apparently there is a cabin, but I cannot work out how to open this door, even if I unlock it. Unlocked, I cannot find a click point or anything to open it at all. Anyone can tell me, that'd be great. Because apparently it has got a little cabin there, and I'd actually like to assign a few views. So yeah, anyway, look, I've only increased a couple of percent. We're up at .79, .80, so, and it's still accelerating. I don't know. I find that just having such a small M1 percentage increment and allowing it to accelerate, we're talking, what's that, 0.05 Mach, 0.06 Mach. I don't know. I really would need to speak to a CRJ pilot. It could be. I mean, remember, it's a smaller aircraft than the 7.3. There's a lot less, lot smaller drag profile, so it could be. It could be, but it just seems that there's not enough drag the faster you go. But that's just from my experience. And so you could get the door open either. You cannot open the door. You need to go into drone cam and fly in the cabin. So you can't actually walk through it then. Alright, well I better lock it then. Where was that switch to lock it? There we are. Well, I can do that. Is my drone cam. Oh yes. Oh, that's a shame. Why, if they could have assigned some views, why didn't they assign some views? That would be really good. Because I don't think I can assign a view in the drone cam view. Well, at least it's there. Yeah, if they assigned some of the quick views, that would have been quite cool. Because how do can I assign that to a view now? Let's try a control roll. 8. Nope, I don't think that's worked. No. Not sure. Are there any custom wings in the camera tab? No, there aren't. I was having a look there earlier. There's none at all. No fixed camera ones. That's a shame. It would have been quite cool if they had assigned some of the wing views at least. So that's quite cool for replays. But I know you can do replays in Microsoft Flight Simulator now, which is pretty cool. Not with the default one. You need a freeway. I haven't installed it, as you can imagine. Kevin, I think you can assign alt number. You can, but only in this view. Yeah, I don't think you can do it with the drone view. Again, might be wrong on that one, but I don't use Microsoft Flight Simulator enough to know. But yeah, it's I like the way that you can assign views. It's similar to X-Plane and like that's quite cool. So for example, I've got one set here for the pedestal there, but what is annoying, when you have that view, it restricts the camera. I can't look up beyond there. Compared to say if you're in this view, the default one, yes, you have free roam over the camera, you can move it around similar to X-Plane. I've assigned a dot and a semicolon, just like in X-Plane as well. But when you're in one of the pre-assigned views, for example FMS, you can't move the camera beyond a certain angle. Look, so I can't even turn behind. Well, I can turn behind, but it's restricted the view, which is a bit of a shame. But overall, they have improved it. So yeah, look, we're meant to be maintaining 0.74. My target M1 was 81%. By just increasing it 1%, I've accelerated 0.6 more max. So I don't know. What we're going to do is slow back down. We'll set about 77%. And then we'll get back to Mach 0.74 and set that target M1 around 80.7. Hi Sim737 Pilot, hope you're doing well. Good day to you. Have you tried the heads-up display? I have. It's okay. I don't think it's the highest quality one. I don't like heads-up displays anyway. Pilot Mike, one of our members on our channel, flies a 787. He doesn't like the HUD either, but he has to use it. Yeah, it's nice. It's there. It's got an FPV. Do you want to? Shall we use it on the approach? Should we try it for the first time? Would you like me to? It's quite. I mean, it's okay. Well, there's 7.4. Let's set that target at 180.7. But yeah, is the CRJ well modelled? Is it great? Yeah, I didn't know about Aerosoft. I was kind of looking at what the community was saying. They were like, oh, Aerosoft, they haven't made the best aircraft in the past and all that sort of stuff here. But yeah, I mean, we had a nice long detailed setup and we were testing pretty much all the systems. And I mean, you push it, it does something. The FMS, I mean, it has all the pages modelled. Seems nice. I can't really think of much to complain about, really. The attitude and thrust settings look right on approach for the aircraft. And I've read online a CRJ pilot tried it. He said it was really not that bad. Stefan, would it be easier to maintain speed in real life compared to sim? Yes. I've had autothrottle in op in the 7.3 a few times, and it really is a non-event. Yeah, you can't fly autolands or anything like that. There's a few other restrictions, but it's really not difficult. You just literally, whatever phase of flight you're in, climb and VNAV or whatever, you just set the target N1 for the thrust, and you just do that. And when you level off, you just set the target thrust setting, and it requires minimal inputs or changes to maintain your target speed. Yeah, I know, it's just a bit of fine-tuning, but I like it. I like the automation, the manual side of this aircraft and having to manage the speed. Anyway, routing today, let's have a little look at the map, and we'll have a quick break after that. Really nice. So we're currently over the Atlantic. We'll be flying right on the coastline of, I think it's pronounced Mauritania in Africa here, but we're going over land here. This is actually really nice. I was really impressed with the scenery here. There we are. Going right over Dakar. That was actually where I was originally planning to start this stream and do 2 sectors, but I was actually, you know what, 2 sectors, I don't really have the time to like go through all the setting stuff, so I thought I'd initially do this on the first sector, and if it all goes well, later on, or in the next couple of weeks, I'll do a stream online on VATSIM in this aircraft. No way I was taking this on VATSIM first time. Still a lot to learn. And VATSIM very much want you to be a bit more clued up on at least, you know, can you maintain an altitude, can you route direct to a waypoint? I could just about do that a bit. But yeah, very nice routing then into Tenerife there. We're flying the, whatever the arrival is called, but I'm going to basically not fly it, I'm just going to route direct to a 10-mile final. There is an issue with this aircraft that has been well documented at this stage, and that is its inability to sometimes fly ILSs accurately. I have flown 2 test approaches now, and the autopilot and the flight directors do not follow the glide slope. At glide slope capture, on both of my occasions, the flight director pitch bar went something like 10 degrees nose down, And obviously, like with any aircraft, the autopilot will follow the flight director the same way a donkey follows a carrot. So it pitched down aggressively, doing 2,500–3,000 feet per minute. I just disconnected. Now the flight director, the localizer and glide slope indications are correct, so it is showing the ILS, but for some reason it's not flying it accurately. You know, I don't know why, but it's well documented. I think someone told me that the developer said you have to capture the glide slope from a descent, don't capture it from level flight. Which, yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll fix that. I mean, we'll try and do CTAs, but sometimes we need to capture the glide slope from level flight. So hopefully they'll fix that. But you'll see it later. We'll set it all up, we'll try it, and if it doesn't work, which I'm thinking it won't because it didn't on both times I tested it, we'll fly manually. It's going to be quite windy in Tenerife, but it should be clear. But yeah. Right, guys, what I'm going to do, because we're on the halfway point of this stream, I'm going to have a quick break for about 5 minutes, go stretch my legs, see how Mariana is. When we come back, we'll have a bit of a play with the systems. Now, I'm going to leave it as it is, 81%. Yeah, it looks stable at 7.5, so I'm not going to touch it. You know, 80.7 seems to be holding 7.4, but it's very fiddly at the moment to fine-tune it here. But yeah, I'll put you in the external view. There's no stapler cam ability with this, is there? No, because I think I have to use the mouse there. So what I'll do, I'll put you in the discal view. And yeah, we'll enjoy the coastline of Africa soon. I'll put you this way so you can see the lovely sun reflection. There we are. And I'll just take a quick 5-minute break. And then we'll start exploring some of the features of this aircraft, playing with the system pages. And yeah, let me know what you think. Guys, if you are enjoying the stream, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. I'll go and stretch my legs. I'll be back in around 5 minutes or so. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that, guys. All refreshed for the second part of this stream. And we are over the middle of the Atlantic. Africa on our right hand side there. We're going to be flying over the western coast of Mauritania and then Western Sahara. My drone camera skills are very good. There I am. Oh, grab my hair. It is cool. There's Jim, look. Jim trying to strike up a conversation and struggling. Very cool. Right, how's speed doing? Set back decimal 757, that'll do. Cool. Alpaca VIP charter, yes, this is Alpaca VIP. That's the name of our VIP division. David Joseph, does hand flying feel as real as X-plane? Or, I mean, when you're hand flying in the 737, the inputs are comparable to what you make on the 73, very impressive, but there's always some limitations, desktop sim, but yeah, I like the way it feels. Most of Fly Sim is getting better every week. Now that is a decent airline that works. It looks more promising than Tin Can Flies. It is promising, however, I really wish Microsoft Flight Simulator work on their performance issues. I think, well, certainly for me personally, every single patch they've brought out, my performance has gotten worse. When I had it on release, I could fly pretty much any of the commercial airliners, even the default, I'm talking about the default ones here, or any of the other aircraft with high-end settings with 35, 440 FPS, wherever I wanted. One of the reasons I chose this particular route was it limits the amount of terrain, because I was saying at the start of the stream, one of the streams I was hoping to have done already in the last few weeks was actually recreating one of the flights I did when I was hour building for my PPR. It was a really nice route in the Cessna 150, the default Cessna 150, nothing special. It'll be okay, the sim will be working fine. This is over the UK, I don't know if it's to do with the UK update. But I'd go from 30 FPS to 15 with micro stutters, continuous stutters, and I even lowered the settings to medium, and there was no change. My CPU is maxed out. Right now it's fine, it's ticking over nicely because I'm flying over the Atlantic. There's not too much to load in. Right now the FPS is 30 to 35. It's flickering between 30 and 35, or 38 there. So yeah, it's nice and smooth. So yeah, I hope they'll fix that. And then I'll be looking forward to using it a bit more. But yeah, I've been putting off that stream because it would have been not enjoyable as a viewer experience to have those performance issues. So I was a bit hesitant to stream this today, but I actually thought, well, let's find I read online on finding issues. The issues aren't so bad if you're flying away from land, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I tested it yesterday and I was actually, well, you know what, the FPS is actually quite good. So yeah, I think the CRJ is quite FPS friendly, I guess. Richard Pete, what's the verdict on the CRJ so far? Overall, quite like it. I'm quite impressed. Well, let's have a little play of it, you know. We'll have a look here. You saw the setup. We pretty much tested all the systems. Everything seems to be functioning correctly. The ICAS seems to be fully modelled. So if you make a change on the configuration here on the panel, you'll see the changes either externally with the configuration or in the ICAS, which is pretty cool. So it's all modelled, all the switches. The autopilot seems to be working fine. Look, you can see here, look, we'll flick through the ICAS pages now. It's got primary engine instruments you can have also on the right hand page. Just turn the music down there, guys. Status. So you got your call sign, Alpaca 01, position of the flight controls and the aileron and rudder, the rudder and aileron trim. The APU is off at the moment, obviously. The pressurization system, so how much oxygen you have. Not sure. Oh yeah, cabin temperature, cabin altitude, it's quite high actually. Differential pressure 8.2 psi, elevation, and we can actually change that to Tenerife now. So station elevation in Tenerife is 210 feet, so it's 20 foot increments. So that is 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200. There you are, so landing elevation is now set to 200 feet. So that's open. APU SOV open. Now it says the APU inlet door's open. Now why is the APU inlet door open? That shouldn't be open. What have I forgotten to do? So it's good job we were going through the system pages. I don't want to push start stop. Maybe I have to push that. APU door closed. There you go. So that, I mean, that just shows you, look. APU door is open. I accidentally forgot to close that, or accidentally turned it on at some point, and you can see, look, externally the door is now closed. So, talking about how well is it modelled, and our system's not modelled that well, I disagree. Someone on the community post was very adamant this would not have well modelled systems. As far as I could see, it's all modelled. I mean, there's probably some features missing for sure, but yeah. Anyway, let's carry on looking through all the pages. ECS. So this is the air conditioning system. Diff pressure again, cabin rate, cabin altitude, nearest foot. 2 engines. Provided bleed air to the packs. You see the PSI as well, which is really cool. Temperature of the conditioner coming from the packs, and then I guess the 737 has something called trim air, which controls the temperature for the zones. So I guess there's something that lowers the temperature or controls the temperature for each zone there. Oops, what's happened there? That's Microsoft Flight Simulator's altitude changing. You can see, look, there's something happened there. Did you hear Jack bark there? What is it? What is it? Someone outside. Oh look, I forgot to set standard on Jim's altimeter. There you go, Jim. All is good here. Perfect. So yeah, that's that page. Hydraulics. Yeah, 3000 psi. I guess 2 hydraulic engine-driven pumps providing all the pressure right now. Looks really good. Electrical systems we've discussed already. 2 IDGs providing electrical generator power. 115 volts, 400 hertz to each bus. Fuel. Let's do a fuel check actually. Well, still a while off. Remind me, guys, to do a fuel check at Papa Echo. So we'll see how the fuel burn is. Previous test sector, the fuel burn was pretty spot on with the sim brief profiles. That looked pretty good. Standard on the standby altitude as well. Now, actually, there is a way here to set it on all of them. Celsius, kilograms, millibars. Sorry to all my US friends. Oh, I don't want independent though. It is on synchronization, so it should be syncing them. Don't know. Anyway, there's the fuel systems. Slight difference because obviously you had the AP running, so that's burnt an extra 50 kilos of fuel in the left tank. Fuel tank temperature, minus 26. Yes. Flight control positions. I guess you can see that as you fly around. Not sure if that stab trim is where it should be for this phase of flight. Anti-ice, position of doors. CAS, something that brings up any problems there. What is this? You can reset the fuel used. Yeah, very impressed if I'm honest. Very impressed. FMS then. Messages, direct intercept, route direct to waypoints then, your flight plan, same sort of format as 7.3, that's like the route page. Departure arrivals hold. I'm guessing it holds. No need to test that here, but I think before I go on that sim I'll test if that actually does work. But yeah, press the position, put the waypoint in. I guess it does work, seeing the page is modelled. Index pages, fixed pages, legs page, second flight plan. Quite cool if that's working. VNAV, remember it doesn't have a proper VNAV system, but it has like a VNAV monitoring system or a VNAV advisory system. And you can program all the different bits of information there, I guess, to change the advisory information. All the pages are modelled. Radio, progress page, performance, flight log. Yeah, it looks good, guys. Looks very good. This is the Collins avionics suite as well, the FMS I think this aircraft had. So yeah, impressive. Holding the speed nicely, a little bit faster than we'd like, but I don't want to fine tune it anymore. Very, very cool. Here comes the land ahead. Plane, does it have independent FMSs? Yeah, I think so. There you go. So that's the first in Microsoft Flight Simulator, because all the others are paired together. That's pretty cool. Jeremy, how do you get those airport diagrams? Any apps? Are you talking about this Navigraph? So we want to have a look into getting. So we'll select here, for example, our destination. It does require a subscription. It isn't free, but it is very worthwhile, the investment, if you want to have realistic charts. That's the approach we'll be flying today, for example. But yeah, I use Navigraph. I've been using it since I started simming again. Started this channel 4 years ago. Andre, so you have to control the throttle manually. Yes, in the cruise you do. Well, in all phases. There's no auto throttle system here, but in the climb and descent you have... Well, climb you have a detent, and for takeoff, and then for max power if you need it. And then it's in manual at the moment, so I've just set a target N1 to maintain decimal 7.4 as close as I can. But yeah, no auto throttle. Joshua, how much rudder do you really use whilst flying a 737? I always find I over rudder in the Zebo, very different to gliders. Joshua Setford, you've come across one of the most common errors that anyone finds when they convert into flying a 737. You do not use any rudder. I used to fly gliders, first aircraft I flew, which obviously requires a lot of gliders to coordinate, a lot of rudder to coordinate turns. Whereas a 737, you turn, you do not use any rudder whatsoever. You do not use rudder for turns, you do not use rudder on final. The only situation you're going to use rudder is to counteract an engine failure in flight or after V1 or on final approach. You're going to use rudder to counteract that, or to decrab for a crosswind landing, or on takeoff to maintain centerline as well. That is the only time you use rudder. You don't use it to coordinate turns at all. So that's probably why you're having an issue, because you're using too much rudder. You shouldn't be using any rudder. But there you go, that's a common mistake. Everyone that starts their type rating, having not flown a commercial jet airliner, the level D sims, when I was an SFI, you can monitor the flight controls at all stages, and you'll always find on final approach for their first crosswind landing, always using a little bit of rudder, instinctively, because you've been using it throughout your flight training. But yeah, it's quickly drilled out of you. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Try not to use the rudder. Overlay is bugged, is it? Yeah, sometimes happens. Oh yeah, 69 feet. I'll just turn it off and off, on and on again. It does work with Microsoft Flight Simulator, but sometimes it does bug out. And I think it's through something called Sim Connect. But thank you very much for pointing that out. Just starting it again fixes it. So you should now have all the information displayed correctly. Yes, looks much better. So ETA as the crow flies, and in a straight line, and you've got your altitude, heading, and speed. Needs direct X12 for a few more FPS. Yeah, at the moment we're at, how much FPS are we getting? Right now, 35. Hovering around 35. But I've been hearing, I mean, my graphics card's a 1080. I know there's like 3890, 39, whatever, and everything, and I've got an i7, I know there's better processors, but I think even people with higher spec PCs than mine are having the same performance issues. But yeah, the CRJ, not taking into account the performance issues Microsoft Flight Simulator are having at the moment, you can see it's pretty good. But obviously, look, I'm in the middle of the Atlantic, well, with a little bit of land loading in. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, Cessna 150 bumbling around at England at 1,000 feet, I'm having horrific FPS. Thanks, Sky Gaming, and Petrich, thanks very much. That was very interesting. Dominic, what does the green dashed line on the Navigraph chart indicate? What's that you're referring to? Let me just open it up here. That's just where the arrival, the flight plan ends, and then the star starts. So the green dashed line represents the SID or start of where they'd be. So again here, yeah. There was no SIDs here, but it's the bits between the first kind of waypoints on the flight plan. Just passing the halfway point shortly. And we'll do this fuel check here, see how it compares with SimBrief. Can't believe I forgot the elapsed time, and I forgot to push toga. I'm so embarrassed by that. So annoying on that takeoff. Your CPU is currently the bottleneck, I know, Aristocrats. Eric, have you landed in Oslo in real life? I have. Josh Corker, how was your dinner? I haven't had my dinner yet, so I did have a quick break to say hello to Mariana, but I'll have my dinner around 8 o'clock tonight. Nicholas, are you able to pop displays onto a separate window in order to view them closely? Unfortunately not. However, there is a click spot with all the PFDs, but clicking it doesn't seem to do anything, so I'm not sure why they have them. quite a strong crosswind for the west, look, 65 knots. This is unlike the 737, a heading up display, not a track up display, so you can see the drift, which is why it looks a little bit wonky. But we'll do a fuel check here at Papa Echo. Let's have a look here outside. Looks cool, doesn't it? See the airport down there. Yeah, we'll be going overland. It looks really nice. Western Sahara. There's the aircraft turning. So, starting over this waypoint, occasionally it's having a bit of wobble over certain waypoints, but most of them seem to be working correctly. So, fuel checker here at Papa Echo then. Bring up the flight plan for you, ladies and gentlemen. There we are. So, Papa Echo. Did anyone make a note of the airborne time? Because we can check the times as well, but obviously the speed's a little bit faster than we're meant to be flying. So we should have 2782 on board. We took about 100 kilos extra. And we have 3075. So yeah, we actually saved quite a bit more fuel than I'd expect. Especially this aircraft's only burning... what is it per hour on average? 1400 kilos, so we burned 2.4 in the 7.3. Let's check the fuel use. It's probably a little bit more accurate with what we should be expecting. Papa Echo, we should have burnt 1809. So it's got 1800 kilos. Now, what page was it? It was in here somewhere. Actually, if we go to the fuel page on the ICAS, maybe it'll show us. There you are. There's fuel use 1700 kilos. So, yeah, it's pretty close. We've saved about 100 kilos. Could be for several reasons. It could be the taxi time was quite quick, I think. But yeah, it's close. I think it's close enough. Maybe some fine-tuning to get it a bit more precise. But it's certainly good enough, the Simbrief flight sim profile. So yeah, impressed. Now look at this part of Western Africa here. Never flown over here in real life, but you can see the effect of the prevailing wind on the sand dunes. Look. This is one of the reasons I really love this sim, is the world is there for you to explore. It's just there. Looks amazing. Evening Joe, hope you're doing well buddy, thanks for coming in. Jeremy, will you fly to Hong Kong? We will at some point buddy, we've never been to Hong Kong in a stream. Yeah, what are we today? We're on Wednesday today. Got a member stream this weekend, and then Friday night I might do keep saying I'll do a Flying Deck Sim gaming stream, ladies and gentlemen. I keep not getting around to doing it, but I have penciled in either tomorrow or Friday for that. And then Sunday, either Zebo model or Beluga. Haven't decided, but if I don't do one of them, I'll do the other. So yeah, next couple of X-Plane streams will be Zebo and Beluga. Contrails are added to the last patch. What do we have today? Yes, there you go. What's the FPS right now? FPS right now is 30, it's going in between 30 and 35. I used to be 45-50 for me. I've not changed much settings here. Gintaris, did the tip with the Xbox network help with the blurry graphics? It didn't for me, Gintaris. I tried it straight away, but I didn't see any difference there. Norski, it's Assetto course on Friday. I must apologise to both yourself and Tobias, because I've not been keeping up with it. I've not pulled that steering wheel out for a few weeks now. I've just, with being in the sim and then been flying again recently, that's been kind of like the priority, and obviously this channel does come first. So I've been doing that with any spare time I have. But yeah, the roster's looking quite quiet again now. Yeah, I've been on 3 of these recency flights now, guys. These flights we do to keep the aircraft and our licenses all valid. So it's been really good fun. The flights aren't much; they're literally up and down. They're less than 25 minutes or 20 minutes in certain cases. But yeah, it's been great to be back up there and log some hours this year. I've logged 1 hour 25 minutes in 2019. Yeah, Gitaris, it's still the textures of the runway are a bit meh. But here it looks great. I mean, don't get me wrong, this looks incredible. Like, cool scenery, I know. Such a sparsely populated part of the world as well. I'll show you where we are too. In the world map up here on Navigraph. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There is Europe. I thought it was a really nice sector to fly today as well. I was trying to think what would be a nice 2-hour sector which isn't going to kill my FPS and is going to have not much complex scenery. Oh yes, the Sahara Desert. And looks epic though. Oh, what did I say? Isn't it 2021? Did I say the wrong year? Did I say 2019? Oh, if I did, whoops. I have flown 1 hour 25 minutes in 2021. I don't even know what year it is now. Who knows what year it is? It's all the same. But very much looking forward to April 12th for the UK, where a little bit of normality will resume. It's my birthday on that day as well, and my mum's coming round. She's very excited. Sahara is great to fly over in a bush plane. Such incredible sights. Yeah. We've not done much flying over Africa as well on the channel, which is a shame, but I'd like, if they can fix the FPS issues, I mean, we've got a nice little aircraft to go and explore some parts of the world here, and that's what I like about Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can just fire up the sim and just, wow, look at the fantastic scenery. No tiles to download, no scenery to get, it's all here. We lost 1 year, so it's okay, Captain. Actually, is it? Very cool. Plainly, and I thought the European Helicopter Pilot Association put a ban on your Euro Truck Simulator license. Great. Yeah, so probably next flight deck engagement will be Euro Truck Simulator 2. For those of you who are familiar, we've got ourselves a Scania now amongst our trucks, and that's along the Volvo. But I think now I'm in Scandinavia. I think we finished in Copenhagen last time, and apparently there's a lot of like 2-trailer lorry jobs around there, so that's what I'll try and find it. I'll fire it up and see what jobs I can find. Thanks, mods. I don't know how quick you guys are. Incredible. Yeah, it's the weather. I mean, is it completely clear here? Let me just check the weather in Tenerife. There's scattered clouds in Tenerife, so I think the live weather's broken at the moment in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The QNH is registering correctly, but it's not often that cloudy around here, to be fair. But we are completely live time. I'm trying to get the sun in the view. Oh, there we are. Oh, look at that for a shot. That's nice. Johnny Monomic just tuned in. How's the flight been so far? So far, so good. Pretty impressed with everything. The aircraft setup, we looked at all the systems as well in a lot of detail. The takeoff was pretty normal. I made a mistake of forgetting to engage Toga on the thrust lever, which I'm a bit annoyed about, which meant the takeoff, one of the most dynamic phases, wasn't as smooth as it could have been. But that was my fault, and hopefully the approach and landing will go there. But no, genuinely, and I don't want you guys to ever think that my reviews or opinions are ever heading my way. I've got no relationship with Aerosoft, no relationship with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yes, they gave me a pre-release copy, but all my opinions are non-biased. It looks great, and I think the price they put this at, was it 42 quid? I think it's fair. Everyone was saying to me that Aerosoft in the past haven't made the best aircraft, haven't been the well modelled, but we've looked at it, all the ICAS pages there, all the FMS pages there, the pitch power seems right. I think it's a fair price for what we're getting. I don't know how long they've been developing this aircraft, but it seems to be pretty nice. So yeah, pretty cool. IH16, welcome aboard as a member, sir. Glad you enjoying the content. You get invited to our members only Discord. Enjoy your customized chat as well. And thank you very much for the support. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Sim 737 pilot, are you planning to stream on your birthday? Probably not, because it's my birthday is also the same day that the UK comes out of its kind of first phase of lockdown, so we're allowing to see some people. So maybe the evening with nothing else on. But with the UK not really allowing international flights until at least June, I'm going to be very quiet for at least until that time. So yeah, I've got loads of streams planned. We'll just kind of like be doing what we've been doing for the last year. Just see what aircraft goes available, flying the Zebra mod predominantly, testing it there. The Zebra mod has got a lot of attention for real-world pilots, which is great. Zebra has a lot of people providing feedback at the moment, which has really improved the mod more and more. I still do my bit testing it and telling him what it is, and he keeps me informed with progress. So yeah, it's amazing to see how far the mod's gone, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to streaming you guys forever, I guess. But obviously the periodic streams will eventually come to an end. I'll be down, flying in the summer, working 80-90 hours a month, trying to stream once a month at least. But yeah, it's been great fun last year. Calvin Ross, those dunes are huge. Yeah, you can see them. They look incredible. I have to be careful if you say bad things about Microsoft. My colleague to that Teams call today his call was mysteriously cut off. Ooh, strange. I think, yeah, I mean, the sim is still being tinkered and tailored with, but yeah, it's been out now. I can't believe it's been out for 7 months. What's the time gone? Anthony, will you be taking your mum on an alpaca walk? Possibly not. We'll be making lunch. My stepbrother's going as well, which would be pretty cool. Rob Slatercar, all the best people are born on 12th of April. What a party I'm having this year. Is that your birthday as well, Rob Slater? If so, awesome. Very cool. Did you know, Rob Slater, we were both born on the same day that Yuri Gagarin launched into space? That's my claim to fame with that date. Alright, Stebo, it means St. Patrick's Day. You have a pint of cranberry sand. I don't have any drinks near me. I don't drink during streaming. I take it very seriously, professionally. That's very cool, Rob. Very cool. Heavy, working 80 to 90 hours a month. Is that that's for your airline or normal ops? I need to get that sort of job. Now, it's when we say it's 90 hours, that we're talking flight time. Duty time, which takes into account the turnarounds, the requirements obviously being reporting 45 minutes before, and post-duty jobs is often around 170, 180, 160 to 180 hours a month. So yeah, it puts it a bit more into perspective. But the actual flight time it sounds less, but actually when we're flying, it's actually our lowest ironically it's our lowest workload point in the cruise, like now. Rob, I did know that. Part of the reason I wanted to be an astronaut. That went well. Everyone drinks during his streams, or each their own. Pro sober streamer, absolutely. Heath86, that makes more sense. Yeah, fully once I said that. Before I started my flight training, as you all well know, I used to work at Morrison's, selling chickens in the UK, and 50, I did that for a number of
40,
years.
30,
3.5 years
20,
training.
10.
And yeah, that was a proper hard job. Volt Prick, hope you're doing well, buddy, and your young one as well.
Hi, Cap. Your streams are a blessing on sleepless baby nights. Crying and cabin noise complete a sim experience. Hope you and everyone is doing well.
Thank you so much, Volprick. I hope you're doing very well. Volprick used to be a member on our channel and had to leave for various reasons. And amazingly, he purchased a baby onesie for his young child, which Mara and I absolutely adored. He sent us the picture of his baby in the flight deck to sim baby onesie. Amazing, Volprick. Well, I hope your wife or your partner as well, and your baby too. And that's amazing. Sorry to hear you've been having sleepless nights. I can only imagine having a child, how difficult that can be sometimes. But fantastic. Thank you very much. Hope you're well, and thanks for popping in, buddy. Very kind. And now at 15%, were you selling raw chickens or roasted ones? Roasted ones, the ones on the rotisserie. Cooked chicken, please, sir. There you go. You sell everything: pies, apple pies, savoury pies, fruit pies, all frozen, not fresh. Yeah, but actually, if you are particularly young here, guys, and are thinking becoming a pilot, no, I'm not going to say become a chicken rotisserie seller, but one thing airlines will certainly look for is for someone who has work experience. Now, I'm not talking about you've had a 9 till 5 job, but they are going to be far more looking into seeing someone that's actually, gotten off their arse at the age of 16, got themselves a part-time job. And I say this seriously because they want to see someone that has that sort of experience. So, and it doesn't even matter if you work at McDonald's. There's nothing wrong with that job. We had this discussion before. Most of my friends and I, we all worked at either one or two places, or I work at the supermarket, which I'm from a kind of a small town, or worked at McDonald's, and we all worked there from the age of 16 through to 19, 20 before either they went to university or, in my case, started flight training, and we've all moved on beyond that. So if you're a little bit younger and thinking, right, I'm turning 16, I need to get a job, do it, because the airlines are going to look at that and go, look, this guy actually has a bit of work experience, and yes, it might have only been doing that. I mean, I went to my first flying job, freighter. I said, what's your work experience? Yeah, I went to supermarket 3 years, and after school, but they're going to like that. They're going to like that, honestly. So yeah, it's worthwhile doing that. I know that for a fact, that the recruitment team will look into things like that. Oh, look, this guy's 21. He's not had any job. His parents pay for his flight training, all this sort of stuff. Now, some people are very fortunate to be in that position, and have a way of funding it, but they won't look favourably on that if they've just done no work. Anyway, are those contrails? They are, Will. Yes, they came in with the latest updates with Microsoft Flight Simulator. There you go. That's a little bit clearer for you. This drone camera is awesome. It's such a neat feature of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I was complaining about the views in the cockpit, but this is awesome. Now I've worked out how to make the PC keep the controller on at all times. It doesn't. Sometimes if the controller turns off on the Xbox controller, you turn it on, it freezes the sim for about a minute. Now I've worked out how to keep it on permanently. Detail, this is all phenomenal. So yeah, I guess that's a little angle of attack probe down there. You've got your pitot probes. There's the first officers. Access to E&E bays. There's the TAP probe. That's that one there. Not sure what this is. This is some. I mean, it looks like a radio. I don't. It's obviously not. But the radio altimeter on the 737 looks like that. But I don't know what that sensor is on the aircraft. I'm quite interested to know what that is. Drain mass probes. That'll be for the one of the VHF radios. Yeah, the external model's really nice. Slider 7.3. Look, no gear doors. The wheels are exposed. Yeah, very well done. Cockpit's obviously really nice too. Now, is that meant to be retracted? I wonder. The tail skid there. Let's get into the APU. Yeah, external model's really nice. Sun setting as well. We should have enough sunlight though for our descent into Tenerife. Let's jump back into the cockpit here to see how long we have till top of descent. So yeah, look, the speed's pretty locked on at 0.75, so I've not touched that thrust there for ages. A bit faster than I want, but it's very hard to fine tune it. Interesting. I don't have a top of descent point generated. I know why, because I never put here in the setup the flight level. So VNAV doesn't actually know where we are. So I can't remember doing that in the setup page. pause. Turn the sound up a little bit in the game. Now, where is it you put the cruise level? As for... it was discontinuity for the missed approach, I think. There we go. Let's put in 390. That should now generate a top descent point on our FMS. So let's have a look here at the ND. There we are. So there has...
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now serving sandwiches.
Thanks, Becky. Now serving sandwiches. So obviously that's the trigger to work out when it has to serve sandwiches. So yeah, you can pick up your alpaca sandwiches today. Very good. There's a disco. Yes, it had disco music. VNAV. Yes, Harry Smithers. So it has a sort of VNAV advisory system. Not that you can select it, but it'll generate a top of descent point, and then it'll have a little, what I describe as like an ILS glide slope deviation, similar to what you have in the 737 with regards to where you should be on your vertical profile. However, having flown the test sector earlier, I found that the profile, it was very early, and I didn't follow it. Now, the tutorial's quite interesting because it says in real life pilots don't use the speed function in descent. Now, I obviously need to clarify that with CRJ pilot, and I thought, well, that would be a bit unusual because what's wrong with using speed? Just bug your speed, like level change, and then just set your thrust to maintain your rate of descent, or change your thrust. But it says no, use vertical speed, so I don't know. I'd like to use speed, personally, and it does actually explain how to use speed in descent, which is what I'm going to do. And I'll be primarily using the maths, 3 times your height, which is, it's very rough, but it does work out to be reasonably accurate, especially if you take wind into account, so, yeah. Fabi, there's so many questions in meteorology about Dakar and the, ITZZ into the tropical something zone I can't remember. Yes, right there is Dakar, so big, monstrous thunderstorms. My goodness, that's really crawling back in my meteorology. Thankfully, I don't have to leave or ever fly the ITCZ to worry about. So, my goodness. The Wisma Productions. Could you perhaps look at the legs page for a second? My legs page didn't give me a rate of descent yesterday, and I want to see if that happened to you too. Let's have a look here. I think you have to be in the descent phase for it to give you that advisory information, but I think here we've got the little down arrow. But the information that was presented to me, I didn't look here, but on the little the VNAV profile there wasn't. I don't know what it was using, but it seemed a bit off what I thought was a correct profile. Sim77 Pilot Squirrel posted a huge review on this, CJ. Very cool. I actually met the man behind Squirrel in Seattle when I was at the Microsoft preview event. Really nice guy. Really nice guy. Very chatty, and yeah, you'd heard of my channel. I was very starstruck. No, but really nice guy. His demeanour's lovely, and yeah, we shared a taxi back to the airport before we came out to the UK. I haven't seen his review on the CRJ though. Harry Smithers, is speed mode like the level change in the 7.3? Exactly, seems to work precisely the same way. Josh Cooper Marsh, you finally caught of the live streams. Welcome aboard, buddy. And, glad you could make it here live. It's nice to fly this aircraft today. Yeah, I'll be saying it again. Honest review is, if you just come in, very impressed. Really, I am for the first effort from Aerosoft for an aircraft and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Right, anyway. Over our last airports inland before we now head back over the Atlantic. This is Dakar directly overhead here. I should probably want this camera. If that's a nice view, isn't it? Contrail. See the airport directly below us. Maybe that should have been the screenshot thumbnail for my video. But yeah, it seems to have... yeah, it's a little bit wobbly. You see how it's just overshot the turn here? slightly. I've been led to believe that's not necessarily an issue with the Aerosoft CRJ, but generally an issue with aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So you can see, look, it's overshot. Now it's having to turn right, and it's overshot again. So it's a little bit of a wiggle there to guess the waypoint. It's undershot it slightly. So it's having to make a right turn. It's probably going to make a few more oscillations. Seems to be okay on some waypoints. On others, it does seem to struggle. Pan, does the aircraft feel plausibly realistic to fly? I know you said you'd not flown a real CRJ, but are the dynamics reasonable? So we'll hand fly most of this approach because the ILS feature is a bit broken at the moment. I can't fly ILSs. Having this being this bit the first kind of, I guess, accurately modelled one, I don't know. I'm gonna say X-Plane feels better. I don't know. It just feels more realistic. I think we need more time, and again, to make an accurate replication. Look at that! Look, it's having a nightmare here trying to fly this waypoint. Yeah, I really need a 7.3. Oh, hold on, guys. I'm not sure where we're going. It's definitely on FMS1, and is it navigating correctly? We're in nav mode. Making a bit of a dog's dinner of this. Yeah, I don't know. I think the VREF. I think someone actually commented here, and that makes sense because I noticed the V speeds on here when we rotated. It's really lethargic to get into the air. It kind of like you get unstuck and it's just like not climbing. But someone said, yeah, the V speeds need tweaking for departure. I don't know. I hand flew it, and I don't know. It feels okay. It feels better than FSX was and prepared for sure. But I don't know. Something about X-Plane. The best way to describe this, if you look at X-Plane, if you look at any of the replays I do, you know when I do the check close hold, and you see in the flare how when I pitch up the aircraft's momentum and inertia keeps it sort of descending, and then it slowly pitches up. That is a really nice feature of X-Plane with the blade element theory. I don't get that sort of feeling with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know, that things like ground effects seem massively exaggerated and things like this, but I don't think they've had the time yet to adjust to modern. I mean, default aircraft, forget about it. You know, they haven't got the kind of accurate modelling to fly it as they should. Whereas aircraft in X-Plane and developers have taken a lot of time to make sure they do handle it correctly. But the performance of this, the attitude, for example, on final approach and the thrust setting, is comparable to what I'd expect it to be. So, is the drag and the lift being well modelled? I guess it is. It's just the feeling for me does feel a little different. I don't know. I really, honestly, guys, do need a 7.3 to be able to compare it. Pam, presumably the V-speeds came from the aircraft documentation. Yeah, I guess they're correct, but it doesn't feel right in the plane. Presumably the drag and lift aren't matching reality. I should think that's probably right, Pan. And that's probably down to the flight model in Microsoft Flight Simulator. But again, I've not flown the CRJ. It might be the fact that's how they handle. But I rotated it, it kind of lumbers into the air a little bit. It feels a bit laboured. Yeah, and that's flying with the V-speeds. I don't know. John Padwell, is there a 7.3 planned for flights in 2020? Yes, PMDG. And of course we will be trying it. Oh god, are those clouds in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Sometimes I thought it live weather with the bug, they don't even appear. Maybe it is. I mean, well, it is broken because we had live weather on in Dakar and it was scattered at 800 feet. So yeah, not sure why. Anyway, I don't want to jinx it, but I will say it. I don't seem to have too many crashes in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Seems to be running quite stable. I've said it now. Wilhelm, when you be flying the will you be flying the 727 again soon? You have flown it last 4 months ago. Oh, where's your message gone? I've just put it back. You've flown it like 4 months ago, and will you fly the Fearless 747 when released? The best planes are in Denver right now. Apparently, that's message fine. I don't think one of the moderators did like it though. I'll bring it back up though. That was okay. When you'll be flying the 727, you have flown it last 4 months ago, and will you fly the Fearless 747 when it's released? The best planes are in development right now, MD-11, A340. Well, that comment's fine. I don't know why the mod got rid of that, but that's great. Yeah, we'll fly the 727 again soon. I think I'll be flying that again before the 737-200. Felix is here at the start of the stream saying hello, and he's saying he's cracking on quite nicely with the 747-200. So yes, of course, we'll be flying that. Maybe if I ask Felix very nicely, he'll give me an early copy. But I'm on. I know Felix. I've talked to him several times with regards to Tupolev. So yeah, we'll be flying that, and of course, yes, the Rotate MD-11 in development looks quite exciting as well. Any builds seem to be all very coy about something that's coming up in the too distant future. That aircraft, though, I really like. I like the Any Simulations guys. I mean, they're very, very unique in the industry. With regards to how they're setting up everything. Petrich, cool. I've just started the 2-minute timer until the inevitable crash. Brilliant. They had postponed the presumed release by a year soon after Microsoft Flight Simulator's release. Yeah, it was meant to be coming out this first quarter, wasn't it? So yeah, hopefully they'll move along with that, because we'll definitely be trying it. Lawrence Bilton, the physics are actually well modelled, however some planes might individually need tweaking. The main loss of flight sim is not being able to feel the aircraft because it's a sim. I think that's a fair comment, Lawrence Bilton, and I know certainly the Zebo mod is way beyond the default 737, and that has a lot of have a lot of customization to make it feel realistic. You're never going to get, guys, a desktop simulator the exact feel and performance from a real aircraft. There's just too many limitations, but you can darn sight have a good shot at making it close, and that's something that the Zebo mod is very good at doing. The PMDG NGX as well is nice, but again, I don't know why they didn't utilize Expert 11. I know they had a DC6, but I don't know the actual. I don't know much about prepared, but yeah, I don't know why they dropped out of Explain. Oh, Paul, that was why. Same message 3 times. Fair enough. Will Glaze, if you ask the same question 3 times, only need to do it once. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the clarification. Yeah, guys, if I'm missing things in chat, it's not because I'm doing it on purpose, unless it's obviously a message just there for disruption. But I do try my best to catch as many as I can, especially at this low workload phase. Now we're approaching 100 miles on top of descent now, so we'll start setting the approach up for Tenerife. I don't know if you can see it in the
40,
distance yet.
30,
oh yeah, look,
20,
can you see that right in the
10.
distance? I think that could be Tenerife there. Thank you very much, Matteo Zenchi, for the €20.
Did my first short nav solo today. Here's a coin for almost every flighter I've got so
Oh, amazing, Matteo.
far. It's also thanks to you if I'm pursuing my dream, so big thanks. Hope to join the big guys soon.
Amazing, Matteo. Thank you so much for €20. That's very touching. Very, very kind. Well, massive congratulations doing your first short nav solo today. I remember doing my first one. First time you've done your solo flight. I mean, if that isn't exhilarating enough, now you're going off on your own to fly away from your airfield in whatever your light aircraft you're in. It's very exciting. So yeah, massive congratulations to you. It's very kind of your donation, and I'm very touched that it was my streams that have kind of like encouraged you to start following your flight training. So very, very cool, and hope to join the big guys soon. Keep at it, Matteo, and hopefully you'll be sat right next to me, keeping me entertained and looked after in the not too distant future. Very kind, Matteo. Thank you so much, and congratulations to you. Very nice. Aristocrat once, twice, 30 times, right alt and click on the screen to pull out in a separate window. Why do you want to tell me that so much? Right alt. One, twice, 30 times, right alt and click on the screen. Ah, there you go. But unfortunately you can't see it, so that's not much use. So you can pop out the screens, but basically it's a massive window. A pop-out window there. Aristocrat, thank you for telling me 30 times. I don't know why you were so keen to tell me, but thank you. Thank you very much. Martin NGX, hi Flight Sim, hope you're doing great there. Does your VNAV and weather work on the CRJ? Weather isn't modelled, unfortunately, on the weather radar, and it doesn't have VNAV. It has a basic VNAV system for you to follow. But, oh no, I've been led to be told that there is a way of activating a VNAV function here. I won't do it in flight in case I break something. Here's options. Yeah, there is an option to select VNAV something. Oh yeah, next page. Yeah, so they've got additional features here. I don't want to do it in flight in case I break anything. But different type of FMS, coupled VNAV available. And some guys said, yeah, there are some CRJs that have a VNAV system there. But I kind of want to fly it a little bit more authentically to the 550 series, I guess, without having VNAV. Whether it has it or not, I don't know, guys. But there is an option there to select some sort of VNAV. There we are. Greg seems 31 times. I know, thanks. Lucy, I assume if you could have, you would have joined BA Air France and flown Concorde in real life. Oh, I think anyone who had that opportunity to fly Concorde would have done. I remember watching a documentary about when Concorde was retired, and a lot of those British Airways pilots, they retired as well because they just didn't want to fly anything that was slower and less cool, I should say. But yeah, I would have loved that opportunity. But I think they were the creme de la creme. I don't know if I would have had the skills to have been those guys. Type rating was only like 6 months as well. Incredible. Martin, you did have VNAV enabled, but it didn't work for me. Not sure how that works, buddy. Petrich, apparently it was an option in the CRJ, but not a very frequently spec'd out one, so most of them don't have VNAV. Yeah, that's cool. We'll keep it that way then. Wilhelm, is there a timer on this? Yes, it does start automatically, so long as you remember to push toga prior to takeoff, which I forgot to do, which I'm very annoyed about, because that means I forgot the timer. Anyway, what can you do? Right, what we're going to do then is start setting up for this approach now. We've only got around 80 miles from top of descent there, but I'd air a word of caution with this top of descent here. It doesn't always seem to be exactly where I expect it to be. And again, I'm following the tutorial flight guidance, which is based on a different sector, but the setup process does go through everything, which is quite cool. So it does say here about the 2 suitable autopilot modes for descent are vertical speed mode, the preferred mode, and it says speed mode not used in real life, even though it is an option. Vertical speed, quite simple. You dial in your vertical speed, and then flight speed will maintain the speed, pitch for the speed, and then alter your rate to descent based off your thrust setting. And then you'll see when we approach top of descent on the PFD, which I've learnt you can pop out, but you can't see it, so there's not much point. There's a little snowflake symbol which appears, which is like your VNAV profile, which we're going to follow on the way down there. And it talks about setting everything up for the approach, and there really isn't that much to it, because it's a lot automated here. Now, one of the things it does say, and this is where I'm a little bit unsure, I mean, trying to find information but I couldn't, is setting up the courses for the ILS. Now, I like to think, being such a modern and new aircraft, that it'll do it automatically, because the only way I can set courses manually is to change the nav source to nav and then set the courses manually. But the only thing is, you've got to be careful of that will spit out nav mode and put it on roll, or maintain the roll. So you can do it that way, you just got to remember to reselect the source back to FMS and select nav. That's the only thing I did, but I'm going to set it all up manually. I did it on the test sector, worked out fine. I've got a funny feeling if you leave it, it'll automatically tune everything as required, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and tune it all manually anyway. So what I'll do is bring up the Navigraph charts. So where are we? There we are. So heading off towards Tenerife. Let's bring up the charts for Tenerife as well. If anyone wants to bring up the METAR for Tenerife, feel free to do so, but I will quote it from the latest METAR off my phone. 100 12 knots, so definitely runway 07, 20 degrees, 1015, scattered clouds at 3,000 feet. So lovely evening here. So let's have a look here at the ILS. Arrival then, sort of modified it really, just to make it a little bit more realistic, where we're expecting the... there it is down there. The the Vidri to X-Ray or to Juliet. And this arrival is very simple. Just goes from Vidri direct to Tenerife South. And Tenerife South, ladies and gentlemen, is on a 4-mile final, so it's unlikely you'd fly this. What I've done is essentially, instead of direct from Vidri, is direct to the 10-mile final point. So it's a slightly left of that. So we're routing direct to 10-mile final here in Tenerife. Now put us right straight in for a lovely ILS. That'll work really nicely. So, ILS then. Frequencies are 109.7. So I'm going to go here to the nav page. I can actually tune it on my radio tuning panel, which is quite cool. 109.7. That's... Why is that not come up here? Okay, every time I change it, it changes it to 13.9. So you can see that, look. I'm changing it to 109.7. It's not activating it. Pressing it over. Changing it to 15.8. Okay, the radio tuning panel is not working correctly. Right, I'll have to do it manually then. 109.7. Now that is actually updating it correctly in the radio tuning panel, but never mind. So that's active. Nav 2 will also select that to 109.7. Then I need to go here to radio and turn that to manual. Well, it's already on manual, so that is not going to change anything. Nav 1 and Nav 2, 109.7. I would need to experiment with the fact if it changes automatically. I'm from a 7.3, so I have to do everything manually. So I like to do things manually as well. Courses are 074. Now, as I mentioned, the only way I can get this to work is, or to set the courses, to change the nav source from FMS. And this is not correct, guys. This is not obviously how they do it. But you can see, look, if I change it to lock 1. Be careful now, because look, I've lost the roll mode. It's now in roll attitude and it starts oscillating, so I'm just going to go heading select here. So the aircraft's going to maintain the heading, and I'll set the course now. Otherwise, I can't actually set the course any other way. So I'd like to think it does it automatically in reality, but I can do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can set up here. Oh yeah, look, it's all independent. It's quite cool how it's all independently modelled. That's really nice. Course 074. But yeah, love to hear a CRJ guy here. There was no guidance in the manual. Try to find it, but I couldn't see exactly what it said. 2, 3, 4. So 074 set. I'm going to set the source now back to FMS1. FMS1. FMS1, and then we can reselect now nav. There we are, and we can verify FMS1 is active. So that's all correct. Format button should be the same as the dash. Okay. Oh, Aristocrat, it did it automatically for me. Okay, into Charles de Gaulle. Maybe, yeah, that's just me. This is my hardwired from flying a 737, so I want to make sure I've got the frequencies courses tuned manually, so I know it will definitely work, but I'm sure, being a modern marvel, that it will work perfectly. So frequencies, courses, minimums. RVR required 550 meters. Is this category C or B? I wonder. Well, we've only got minimums cat C, so we'll go for 35 based off the higher missed approach climb gradient. So 435, and you set that here. Push it in. That brings it up onto the PFD, and then you can set 435. There doesn't seem to be any call out, just blinks at you. It says MDA. You can see, look, the MDA is now set, rounded up 440. So yeah, not much to say about this particular arrival. Going to be getting straight in direct to a 10-mile final after Vidri. That's this waypoint here. Frequencies, courses, minimums are set. Missed approach climb straight at 5,000 feet, right turn max 220, back to the VOR 16.4 on standby. But it is coded in the FMS, working correctly. It's one of the reasons I chose this sector. Nice and simple, straight in. See what happens. But yeah, ILS glide slope in this aircraft, it's already been mentioned by the devs. It's already been well publicised. It's, yeah, not working great. So I'll try it again. We'll descend down to around 10 miles, and we'll be at around 3,000 feet at this point. I'll try it. Localizer capture seems to work fine, but glide slope capture is making a right dog's dinner of it. It just dives at 2,000 feet per minute. So we'll disconnect hand fly, and that'll be quite a good way to actually see how it feels anyway. I might disconnect a little bit sooner. So that's the approach discussed. Landing here, nice long runway, 3,200 meters. We can make the first high-speed Bravo 4. That'd be great. And then yeah, it's a default airport. The parking stands aren't, or numbers aren't there, but we'll go in via Tango first, right? Delta 6 onto the terminal. Listen, what's the difference between DA and MDA? MDA is actually, why have I not set DA? MDA would be used for non-precision approaches. Yeah, so sorry, DA is the difference is MDA is a minimum descent altitude. You cannot go below that altitude. So in this case here, the localizer only is an MDA. That means if you enter a missed approach, you must not go below 700 feet. It is legal, you know, it's a legal barrier. That's why we had that 40 foot onto the approaches. A DA is decision altitude, so you have to decide at that height what to do. So obviously if you decide at 435 feet to go around, the aircraft will go slightly below that, obviously with the inertia, and as it sets missed approach altitude and climbs away, you'll go below. But you can actually make that decision here. Whereas here, you must not go below. So that's why we add that 40 feet to make sure when we do go around, we don't actually ever bust the 700. There you are. Cool. Anyway, that's it. Landing performance then. So they don't have a landing performance calculator per se. However, they do have your speed. So you go to performance speed. We're going to go full flaps today, flap 45. How do I select flap 45? Because I think they've got 2 landing flap settings. Or is it all landings at flap 45 in this aircraft? Not sure. Well, I'm going to use 45 anyway. And it just says set all and set. And there we are, we have the T-speed already. So I guess we're good. I'm going to fly slightly faster than the VRES speed, probably 135 on the approach. I think that'll work out nicely. Anyway, that's the performance element of things there. All looking good. Basil, where did you get those charts from? Those are Navigraph charts, sir. It's a small subscription you have to pay, but definitely worth it. Right, guys, there is top of descent, and if we go to the progress page, you can see we have total distance 126 miles. So it was 125, 6, 12, 30, 36. That makes sense actually. So you'll see as we pass top of descent, you'll get a little VNAV profile guidance appear here on the PFD, and it should give you kind of like rough idea of where you should be. It's not VNAV where you can actually select VNAV and it will follow it, but you can use the other pitch modes, speed or vertical speed, to follow it and just go down like that way. Oh, Meaty Walrus, it is always flat 45 in the CRJ. Beg my pardon. I guess that's the only option you can select there. Harry Smithers, can you fly below DA if you're not visual? Absolutely not. That's the whole idea behind MDA or DA. You have to be visual with, depending on the type of the approach, some element, the approach light system. If it's an auto, a Cat 2, a Cat 3, you need 3 consecutive approach lights. If you do not say that, you must immediately fly the missed approach. That's the whole idea behind an MDA. DA is this is as safely as the closest to ground we can get you. Before you have to go around, and a lot of accidents have occurred from pilots continuing below the minimum height without being visual, so that's why they have it. Right, past top of descent then. I think we actually have to initiate the descent to get the little profile to come up here, so I think we've done everything we need for the setup and approach. Just reading the tutorial here, we're all good. Landing elevation we set, fuel's done, TCAS is required, radar set, terrain, CAS, landing data's done, approach briefing's complete. I think we'll go down. Top of descent in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dial in. Let's go down to 200 initially. And I'm going to use speed initially. I'm going to use speed mode. So, that's set. Select speed. And I'm going to slowly reduce that thrust to idle to maintain our target speed, which at the moment is Mach 0.75. There we are. There's idle. No, that's the altitude. Oops, speeds here. There you are. So I've told it to maintain Mach 0.74, and it's descending. So yeah, oscillating a little bit. Shouldn't be climbing. Now, what have I forgotten, ladies and gentlemen? Why are we not maintaining the speed? Oops. Did I forget to push the speed button? gone really slow now. Right, if I buck decimal 74, it might do a little bit of a dirty dive here. 6,000 feet per minute. 7,000 maybe? There we are. I must have accidentally unclicked speed there. There we are. So decimal 74, yeah, that's reasonable. 6, you know, the 7.3 will, if you're accelerating in climb, will give you 5.5, 6,000 feet per minute. So that's nice. I guess they have a custom autopilot here. It's reasonably smooth. Where's my little VNav thing gone that shows you your vertical profile, I wonder? Where's the progress page? I like this background. Can you hear the music, guys? Nice. I just want to see distance to go. 102 miles, 33,000 feet. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, there should be a little path feature that comes up here. On the test sector, it came up. That's another big go gliding. The snowflake is drawn on the right hand side of the VH line, can be used similar to the glide slope indicator. Okay, not sure how to get that up, guys. It only becomes visible in vertical speed mode. There's vertical speeds. No, still not popping up. I had it come up on the test. Yeah, and this is my, you know, this is the whole idea of this stream. First time flying the aircraft for you guys to watch it, so we kind of experiment together. It's an option in the MFD. Did the descent page populate? Let's have a look. So VNav. So yeah, we've got our speeds. 7.4, 290 knots. Just maintaining 7.4, and when we get to conversion of 290 knots, we'll maintain that. Yeah, looking good. Oh, transition level. What's that in here? 7.0, so we'll change that, otherwise it's not yelling at me. Execute. Okay, not 100% sure what that's coming up, and that's just my first time flying the aircraft, you see. Right, we're almost on conversion. It's actually gone to 269, so we're going to send a 290 knots now. And yeah, this is just like level change. Oh, that's the heading. 290. Cool. There is Tenerife in the... well, there it is. There's Tenerife in the distance. Very cool. James Bugs, I came for plane chat and stayed for the carbon music. Thanks. I think you have to enable it in the tablet. I mean, I've already had it. When I first flew it. And I know there's that next page here. It's not any of these settings, guys, because I've not touched any of this, and I had it on the first flight. Anyway, where are we now? We'll just do it old school. I don't mind. Anyway, remember, it's just advisory information anyway. You know, you can't couple that to the autopilot. It's not going to look at that and go, right, I'm high or low. And I found it wasn't the most accurate anyway, so we'll just do it old school. Using the progress page 2, which I've now lost. Where was it? You can find your distance. There we are. So 80 miles, should be around 24,000 feet. So I'm a bit low here. So what I'm actually going to do is, approaching flight level 200. So imagine we've got cleared down to flight level 100 now. And I'm actually going to use vertical speed for this, as advised. So vertical speed, out cap. So now you've got to be careful, because remember you might have to add thrust to maintain speed, because we're in vertical speed. So I'm going to maintain 290. Vertical speed, let's just do 2,000 feet per minute, see where that puts us using our height distance checks. And I'm going to, oh yeah, just add that thrust look, because I need to maintain 290 knots. Oh my god, I've just, so many motoring legends have died this week as well. Murray, and I saw Sabina Schmidt had passed away today. Horrible news. There we are. We're now routing on the arrival. Remember though, we're not flying the Verdi arrival exactly just now. We are now routing direct to a 10-mile final. Chris, doing it wrong. Go to direct intercept to check the suggested vertical speed from the advisory VNAV. Yeah, that's information's fine, but I knew that one, Chris. How do I get the advisory VNAV on the PFD? On the test sector I flew, it came up, but this information as well, yeah, I wouldn't use it because I tried using this on the test sector and it was the heights it was estimating. I was applying them, but it was like, no, that's not working. More than second speed, Schmidt, what happened to her? She had cancer. She had cancer. There we are. Turning at flight level 100, 290 knots, looking good. So that thrust setting, just have to manually adjust the thrust to keep it on profile. That looks good. Great thing is you've got two FMSs, so I can bring up progress page 2 on Jim's side, so we can keep an eye on our distance to go. 70 miles, 7:14:21 plus slowing down a bit. We're at 16,000, so quite low, but we'll do that anyway. Mark MCD unit MFD option for VNAV, I think. Yeah, I definitely missed something. It'd be quite cool to have shown you, but I'm doing exactly what I flew earlier, and it just came up after top of descent. It just came up straight away, but it's just advisory information anyway. Chris, it works great. It's suggested VS to use from the present position to a constraint. You need to adjust it every constraint you cross. I saw though the devs said, Chris, in the forums that it needs work. The VNAV advisory, and with the constraints it was applying there, it told me on the arrival to maintain 4,000 feet per minute after Vidri, and from the advised height, which meant I was levelling off 3,000 feet, 40 miles away. So anyway. Oh, it was right there, off on VNAV. Press bottom right to select VNAV on the MFD data. Aha! So this is, I didn't see this earlier. There we are. 2,605 minutes, 52 miles. That's cool though. And they say this aircraft wasn't in depth enough. They've got so much here. 1 minute to 5 minutes 51 miles. That's cool. But yeah, I still don't have the thing. Still don't have the thing though. Right, we need to shut off our descent here. We'll bring the speed back to 250. Remember, this is just bugging the target speed manually on the PFD and then just using the auto throttle manually. The thruster manually. But yeah, there isn't much stuff they've forgotten about here. Wow, I'm sorry I've not been looking at the outside view here. Look at that. Now try that with the left MCDU. Same look. Yeah, just need the I just want the VNAV advisory there. I didn't know these features earlier though. Anyway, I'm just going to do it old school. 5, 10, 15. Coming up to 250 knots, so I'll just add that thrust manually to maintain 250. Is the HUD any good? It's okay. Would you guys like me to use it on final? It'll be the first time I've actually used any HUD. It's a bit 2D, but does come up with the information you need. Quite cool to use it. I think I might use it just to see how I get on. How long till short final? About 13-14 minutes. Yeah, we're very low now actually. High distance checks didn't work out quite well. A little bit of a headwind component, but not by much. Oh, actually, no, we don't. I thought that was 80 knots. That's 8. We don't have any headwind component. Right, approaching flight level 100. We'll step down to flight level 80 now. And actually, what I'm going to do, because it'll be very busy on this approach, especially hand flying for the first time, is actually get most of the landing checklist done now. So descent checklist, we've checked the landing elevation, set it, we've done the TCAS, we've done the approach briefing. Altimeters will set shortly. Passing flight level 100, we'll turn all the lights on. Need some lighting as well, it's getting very dark in here. Yeah. Where's the other lighting panels here? Sure, we'll get the lights on, strobes are on. Put the taxi light on as well if I have to after landing. I mean, we're all good. Lighting's nice. Yes. Not sure how to turn the lighting on here yet though. Right, flight level 100. Going a tad fast, just bring that auto throttle back to maintain 250 knots. There's Mount Tied, yep. Does it have a separate nose wheel tiller? Let's have a look here. No, looks like the FO can't taxi, only the skipper. But it's 2D, sorry, it's 3D, but it doesn't seem to move when I'm taxiing. Cool. What we're going to do now is descend to the platform for the ILS, which actually is 4,700 for the procedural approach, but I'm going to go down to 3,000 feet now. And a bit of thrust to maintain 250 knots. Oh. And the QNH in Tenerife is 1015. So let's try the old good old B. Saying 1016. We'll go with that because that's what it's in the sim, obviously. Perfect. Check the legs page to see if your approach waypoints have an altitude constraint. They do. 2,600 with little descent arrows. Yeah, not so worried about it now, guys, for honest. But next time we'll fly it. I'll make sure it works. Excellent. Ah, well, looks like we've got some clouds coming in as well on the sim. I'm going to turn the music off now as we're getting to the approach there. How's the sound for you guys? Sim okay? Not too loud? Look at that. Spectacular. Cool, so before landing checklist we can do now, because I'll be plan flying at this point. Flight attendant advised, passenger signs on, thrust reverse is armed. If you don't do this you'll get no reverse thrust. The spoilers, I think, automatically deploy. We couldn't find any guidance on that. Airspeed, VREF +5, I think we're all good. I'll just configure the flaps. The speeds recommended, let me get back in here, the better view for you guys. The speeds it recommended on the approach was to start slowing down, select flap 1 at 210 knots, flap 8 at 190, flap 20 at 180, then configure gear down, landing flaps at 160. So we use those ones there. Poltergeist spoilers are automatic, yes, very cool. Yeah, there was no like arm feature or anything like that. But yeah, we'll try to maintain a CDA as best as we can. I've just lost my little banana though. The banana is so useful to work out where you want to be. I'm around 3,000 feet at this point, there we are. Not worried so much about a CDA today. This is my first time flying this with you guys, but that looks good for now. Localizer will be tuned. Uh-oh. Please. I didn't see that on my test sector either. 1097. I hope that means it will be tuned. Thanks, Mr. CRJ. Right. Looking good. We've got around 30 miles to touchdown. We're a little bit lower than we usually want to be at 30 miles, but we'll just keep that gentle descent going. We'll maintain 250 knots still as well. Spoilers are armed and automatic. The switch is above the reverse thrust arm switch. Ah, got you. That's really cool, but it's completely automatic. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the flight so far. It's been really enjoyable. And what do you guys think? I've already asked once. We've got a few more people watching now. I think we've got over 700 people. Pretty impressed with it, if I'm honest. Hashtag will it be tuned? That's the big question. Wow, what a flight though. FPS is good as well. What am I getting at the moment? 35. But yeah, that is because we're in the middle of the ocean. Very nice. Ah, yes. Makes me miss flying, that one. fine-tuning that vertical speed, trying to maintain some sort of CDA, and we'll start slowing down imminently as well. In fact, you know what, let's start slowing down now. Let's bring the speed back to the clean speed, around 210 knots. Remember, the auto throttle, this is just a reference. There's nothing that's... I'm not setting this at all manually. And I noticed when I started configuring for the approach, it automatically bugged the VREF speed for me when I selected, I think it was the landing flap. It looked really cool when it was doing all that for me. Set VREF on the EFB after importing the current fuel on the aircraft. Okay. It takes some getting used to, I guess, so I would definitely get the CRJ. Yeah, like any new aircraft, you've got to learn all the logics and the different systems and stuff, but it is quite different to what anything else I've flown. But logical. It's logical. So, I guess, yeah, look, we've got lock 1, so I'm guessing it's been tuned. It's definitely picked something up there, and a blue magenta line, so that looks promising. Still about 10 miles, 20 miles. Want to be ideally at around 4,000 feet. What's the TAT? Just trying to find the information. Because it's always there. TAT's 20 degrees, so we don't need any engine anti-ice. Into the cloud we go. It's going to maintain 210 knots for now, so just adding the thrust. Just trying to find a view so you can see everything properly there, guys. Do you fly with a joystick or M&K? What's that? I use a joystick, I agree, Irish. Right. Let's get everything mute for the approach. There we are. It's very quiet now. There's mounts, yeah. Fleeing to Tenerife a lot. Mouse and keyboard. I don't use mouse and keyboard, Irish key. Except when the aircraft breaks. I have flown with a mouse and keyboard before. I'd love to see somebody land this with a mouse, lol. Are you genuine? Have you actually not seen the approach where I landed a A300? I can't sense if there's any sarcasm there, you might not have seen it. But I did actually once. If you type in YouTube Innie Builds A300 belly landing, you'll find the stream where I landed it with a mouse. Right, there's 3,000 feet coming up. Oh, looking good. I'm going to select a natural flops now, so I'm going to go flap 1. We'll just level off at 3,000 feet. And I want... No, I don't want the fuel page anymore. Ugh. Don't know what page I want, actually. Put it on flight controls. There's flap 1. We're going to go flaps to 8 now. Bring the speed back to 180. Oops, I don't want climb thrust. Ugh, it's very sensitive. So there's 180 knots here. You really do need to squint. And I'm just going to go to... Let's do a little bit of a dog leg here. Heading select.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land. Please notice the cabin lights have been turned off.
Amazing. Alright, we're going to arm approach now as well. We've got lock and glide slope armed. There's the runway in the top right hand corner. Very good. And you can see that the magenta, magenta, the white scale is because we're drifting off our FMS flight plan route, but we're on intercept heading now for the ILS, just maintaining 3,000 feet, maintaining about 180 knots as well. Starting blinking, it's about to pass over the active waypoint. We should get localizer capture any second. Localizer capture! So that is working. Here comes the glide slope. We're right on the glide slope here, so let's try it. Approach is armed. Just want to keep an eye on it, guys. It might do a bit of a dirty dive here. Where's it going? Glide slope capture? Is it going to be doing the same move again? It's already set to glide slope. Look, we're 1 dot down. Yeah, look at this. That is not correct. Look at this. 4 reds. Right, I'm disconnecting. And that is just a bug that's well documented with the glide slope. It just... glide slope capture, dirty dives. So I'm just going to level off here, 2,100 feet, bring the speed back, and then we'll configure the landing flap shortly. Interesting. But I knew that was going to happen because everyone's told me about it. All the devs know about it. They said, yes, don't intercept the glide slope level, otherwise that happens. Yeah, that's not correct. Right, we're hand flying now. Flight director's off. We're going to just maintain around 2,000 feet now, just until we are level or back onto the glide slope. You can barely see it, guys, but I have got the localizer and glide slope scale there. I'm actually going to start configuring now. Gear down, flap 20. Yeah, I mean, it does feel nice to hand fly. I'm just trying to get it in trim here at the moment. Right, there's one white, 3 reds, and I'm going to select landing flap now as well. Oh, it's slowing down. There's a big balloon. Happens with the 7.3. Right, we're back on profile. So there's 2 whites, 2 reds. 120. Oh, I haven't got my VREF speeds come up for some reason. Well, I'm going to just hand fly it. It's fine. Right. So we've got a crosswind from the left. We're on profile now. 2 whites, 2 reds. The VREF is 127, so I'm going too slow here. What is IBB 154? Right, there we are, back on speed. Set VREF on the FB, guys. I must have forgotten to do that. I do not have the capacity right now to set that whilst hand flying an aircraft. Completely unfamiliar with me when I want to be looking at how it handles. But if I get... Alright, I'll try, just to keep you all happy, okay? There we are. Right, VREF set. And a little bit too much thrust. Cool. So, bit below, I want to be flying around 135 knots. I'm around 130 at the moment. 4 reds, so it's okay as long as I correct it nice and early. That's because I took my eye. This is the thing, you get me, Captain, you forgot to set the UFB. I'm taking my eyes off the ball. Right, back on glide slope. We're on VREF at the moment. On localize. I've got a good crosswind here from the left as well. Right. Attitude's where I'd expect it to be, on the horizon. So yeah, the thrust, not sure about what the target thrust setting should be on final. This gross weight with full landing flap out, but it looks good. I'm guessing that's a real flight that's taking off that's popped up there, but I thought I had traffic off. Never mind. Right, 2 whites, 2 reds, landing checklist, a gear down. I hope it is. Best check externally. This is taking all my capacity to hand fly this at the moment. So gear down, flaps full, lights are on, checks complete. 2 whites, 2 reds, just hand flying now. Yeah, it feels nice on final if I'm honest. It does feel nice. It's all in trim now. Just trying to keep that speed around 135 knots.
400.
So watch that rate of descent. Don't want to be going down any faster than that. There we are, back on the profile. Keep it descending now. 2 whites, 2 reds. Wind's now down the runway. Shifted all over the place. Keep it descending. Only looking outside there. There's minimums. You can see MD8 flashing on the PFD. That looks nice. 3 reds. Small corrections at this stage. Now keep it descending.
100. 50, 40, 30,
Check.
20,
Close. 10.
10.
Hold the attitude. And we're down. Right, speed brakes. I hope we're up. We'll select reverse thrust. There's reverse thrust, 100 knots. 80 knots. And 60 knots. I'll go idle now. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tenerife. Our first ever flight on a payware commercial aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And honest verdict and rating, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. Really impressed, if I'm honest. For what I was told and warned, yeah, the actual Aerosoft CRJ is really nice. So many features. Really, really nice. So well done to the devs with that one. Cool. And yeah, obviously I'm still learning a lot about this aircraft there. So I thought I did it about 30 minutes ago, set that there on the PFD. But at that point, what I'm more worried about is flying the aeroplane. You know, I know what the PFD closed slopes all tuned, looking for pitch, looking for the localizer. But yeah, overall, I think everything was flowing smoothly as possible, as accurate as possible. Still not sure why I didn't get the VNAV advisory information on the PFD. That is purely down to my lack of knowledge on this aircraft. So hopefully we'll find out, we'll learn why that didn't work. But yeah, it did work on the test sector. I didn't do anything different, I didn't think. Cool, I just need to turn out the lighting here on the panels. It's a bit dark, but look at this. What a time to land here. Really pretty, looks absolutely phenomenal. Cool, a little bit of taxi music. Cool. But yeah, having to squint at all these little numbers is difficult, even though I know you can pop it off. Excellent. We'll take the next right here. We'll get the APU started up as well in 2 seconds. Just going to get in on the taxiway here. So as briefed, in off, I think it's Juliet here. So we're looking at the taxi charts. Yeah, so sorry, not Juliet. We're off well, I just came off Tango on Delta, but this is just a stock scenery, I'm afraid, guys. Night lighting's certainly nice. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, the stunt visually looks incredible. Look at that. Probably should have the landing lights off as well. Right, let's get the APU up and running. Stop. There we go. Whoa. Get back on the taxiway. We'll find somewhere to park. I feel like the lights look like glowing tennis balls. Well, to be fair, that's quite realistic. The lighting on the conventional halogen lighting on the 737's appalling sometimes. Really dark. The taxi lights and the turn-off lights. You can, especially if it's raining, can be very difficult to see. So quite like the fact that that's modelled. Just need the lighting up on here. It's so dark and it's very annoying. Right, speed brake stowed. Oh, where is it all? There's loads of lighting controls over here. Floor lighting. Well, that's nice. See how well buffed my shoes are now. We'll take the next round to stand. Sounds like the APU's booted up. Let's go for this one here, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the centre pedestal. Thanks, guys. It's a dome switch as well, the overhead. Cool. Oh, there's a van in the way, though. If I park on that stand, will that van move, I wonder? Well, we'll go for the next one. Look, there's no van there. I wonder what to find the lighting here. Ah! Ah! Lovely. That's... lovely, lovely lighting. That's cool. Lighting looks great. Just use your fancy headlamp. Oh yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator has a headlamp, doesn't it? The coal miner's helmet. Oh yeah, they need to fix this though. They just, if you go full right on the tiller, like this, it just slows right down. That's not realistic. It just needs some fine tuning. There we are. Stand. Guidance to. Oh, I think we'll bring it to a stop about there. There we are. So, parking brake is set. Let's check the APU is up and running correctly. So I think that's just on one of the default views. Now, how do I check the APU status? There we are. Status. APU door open, 100% EGT. So I believe, yeah, it's available. All I need to do is shut the engines down. Simple as that. And remember, there's a little flick switch. There we are. Shut off. Let's just finish to cut lights off. Lots of ICAS messages popping up. Obviously, because we just shut the engines down, so everything gets depressurized and turned off. So we should have logo on, strobes off, beacon come off now as well. That should be all good. There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tenerife. Deck to Globe 21 99. Welcome aboard as a member. Glad you enjoyed the content. You'll get invited to our members only Discord. Enjoy your custom emoji chat as well. And thank you very much for the support. There we are. Oh, we best open the doors, hadn't we? Yes, because I don't have the replay add-on yet, I'm afraid. I haven't been playing this sim for such a long time, but I do understand there is one now. But let's go to aircraft. Let's open and put the chocks in place. Get the ground power connected as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, the door is open. Please make your way to the exit and please make sure you have all your personal items and carry-on luggage.
Absolutely, yes. Bye-bye. We don't have the ground power connected. Where's ground power? Connected. Available, so all I need to do now is turn the APU off. Okay. AC power is not available. It says connected though, and it also says available. Ah, there we are. Don't forget to push in use. There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tenerife. Let's put you in a nice little external view and read some of the comments there as we texted in. Sweet. Where do we start?
50,
well, firstly, thank
40,
you very much,
30,
Mark Malinac, for the
20,
£5 donation. That was
10.
very kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's very kind. Thank you very much, Mark. Glad you enjoyed the stream and appreciate the donation. Very, very kind. Right. Well, let's have a look at some of the comments here, because I missed them there. They're probably very busy there. Mouse, Dutch flops, yeah. Make sure you set VRF for those CRJs very floaty if you come in 5 knots fast. It was a little bit floaty there. Got the speed under control eventually, but yeah, I forgot to set VRF. But at least I knew what it was, 127 knots. Just flying it manually, that's fine, what we want there. But yeah, the glide slope broken, knew it was going to happen. Some people have had luck, some people haven't. Poultry just said I had luck with catching glide slope. Just have to make sure you're in a slight descent whilst capturing. Shouldn't need to do that, Poultry. They should be able to make it happen whilst capturing from a level flight. But yeah, hopefully they'll fix that there. What would you do here if you weren't visual? I can't remember where you said that, Whisper Productions, but we were fully visual all times there. Oh yeah, HUD, sorry. Forgot the heads-up display. That would have made my life easier. I think you forgot the HUD. So busy there, though. But takes all my capacity out flying there. Is he a flat captain? Said nuclear tubs. Yes. You are safe. Reverse thrust. Someone good. Yeah, I remembered that one. But yeah, it was nice. Nice approach there. It was all stable by the landing gate. So we're happy about that. How's the FPS right now? It looks okay. Yeah, the performance has been fine this flight. But as I've said, the problems I'm having with the FPS at the moment, like many other users since the latest patches, when I'm flying over mountains and the UK with the Earth update, I was getting far worse performance flying the Cessna 150 VFR over the UK than I was for this entire flight, flying on in between islands, I have to say, so isn't much for it to load. But yeah, 30 FPS, it never went below, so pretty happy with that. And that's with all the settings on the high end there. All impressed with the night lighting, and yes, overall, very nice. Funky music, yeah, no replay function. I'll probably edit on this lovely, cool music here. But yeah, overall, my opinion on this aircraft, as a skipper on the 73, pretty impressed, if I'm honest. A lot of people saying, oh, Aerosoft, they haven't made great aircraft. I had no clue, I had no idea about their aircraft. First time I've ever used one. I have to say, like, the systems, especially, I think it's really well modelled. The FMS, all those pages were there. There was nothing I didn't push which didn't work. There's some fine-tuning needs to be done. I think a lot of issues, those issues are quite small, and mostly down perhaps to Microsoft Flight Simulator as opposed to the Aerosoft CRJ. But things like the ICAS page being modelled is really cool, but you saw in the nav mode it's a bit wobbly over some of the waypoints. The glide slope issue, yeah. I think I saw a forum post where they said prior to release that they knew that it doesn't work. Though I wish they got that fixed before release, but hopefully they'll get it fixed as soon as possible. But overall, yeah, pretty impressed with those guys. So the price I think is fair, 40 quid for this aircraft. For those of you unfamiliar with flight simulation, that's what you typically pay for a high quality designed airliner. Some charge a little bit more than that, some a little bit less, but I think it's well priced for what you're getting as a package, and no doubt, and I hope Aerosoft will continue to update it as Microsoft Flight Simulator matures. I hope a lot of these add-on developers don't forget to keep maturing their products as well. Don't just release it and forget about it. It's very important for the community to make sure it is, and I think a lot of developers gotten onto that fact now, and certainly explained a lot of those aircraft are kept up to date, which is pretty cool. guys, that's it for today. No doubt we'll jump in this aircraft again, especially probably sooner rather than later, because I forget everything again. So probably in the next couple of weeks we'll look at taking this aircraft on VATSIM for the first time. I'll do a few more test flights and get a little bit more comfortable. Hopefully Microsoft Flight Simulator will push another update out as well to improve performance for certain users. I certainly could do with that one there. Cool, next stream probably something on Flight Deck Sim Gaming on Friday night. There is a set of course of race the guys are doing, so I might look at that. And members I'll see you all on Saturday, of course, and then Sunday most likely back in the Zebra Model Any Builds A300 Beluga. I'll think of something there. But guys, as ever, thank you very much for all your generosity today. Very, very kind to everyone that donated, to all my members for the continued support as well. For all my regular viewers, thank you so much for popping in to watch this video. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to stay up to date with the latest content, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.